Hello. Time to watch some LCK. Another beautiful day of bangers only. Thank you very much for the sub, Jerky's Minion, as usual. As usual. Appreciate you. We're going to get into Genji versus Hanwha. Riot Games' only bangers is when they blow up fireworks in the sky every year because they sure as hell can't figure out what the makes people spend money. Well, I saw that stadium in Munich was awfully empty. Saw a picture or two. As I told you guys on Summoning Insight, they were having a hell of a time selling tickets for that event. That's why you saw all the teams advertising for it. They were shouting it out every 2 seconds on the broadcast. Having a really hard time selling tickets in Germany. Turns out when you gut the product, people don't think it's important anymore, and so they don't show up to your event. Weird. I will probably do the LCS FlyQuest versus Cloud9 or FlyQuest versus Liquid tomorrow.
Kobe can play like Tristana, Corki. Are you going to leave Ziggs available? What do you do?
The Vi ban should not come as a surprise. Canyon, not really a Vi guy, and Peanut
a Vi guy
is the Vi guy. As the Tristana does come through, we were actually having a bit of a discussion earlier on. The Tristana or the Corki, we knew it was going to be one of the two. We'll see whether Corki does make it through in the guaranteed. The loss here, fortunately for Canyon.
Okay, so Genji comes into this series. They're going to ban Vi against Peanut and Yone against Zeka. These were two of the key picks from Hanwha's victory over T1. Ivern also, Canyon isn't the Ivern player. That's why they're going to first pick Maokai here. Keep that away from Peanut. This is like the priority champion in the LCK at the moment. Tristana, of course, because of Chovy, Rumble because of Keen, and also because of the red side. And then the Ziggs, which was really instrumental in their Genji's win.
He gets to play the tree. Fortunately,
against C plus Kia.
Unfortunately, because it's not the most excited pick, Valdez.
I mean, we saw
probably Corki here.
I think that, like we said, it's very difficult to ban against this team. You have to take through Tristana and Ziggs. So
we're actually just prioritizing Smolder. Smolder MF. Interesting. I did not expect that.
Potential can obviously flex it towards.
Is a nice flex pick though, so we're going to take Zeri Ezreal in response. But that's pretty transparent. Ezreal going bot, Zeri going mid probably at this point in time, although you could reverse that. You're probably not going to play Zeri into MF, so it's pretty clear. Okay, Sejuani, we're not giving up anything. We're going to start seeing support bans right now. And Mordekaiser, this is a tell that they want to, Doran wants to pick Cassante here. Right, guys?
Wonder if they want to blind pick a top laner. Wow. What is it going to be here? And to me, doesn't feel great into.
Interesting. They're R5ing it, so they're keeping the Smolder flex up, but I really wonder why they banned the Mordekaiser then. So they're forced to blind pick here, Genji. They're going to pick the Cassante. And the Schlitzcrank. Okay, so they really want to be able to pick off this MF. The Lehen special, obviously. Ooh, Jax.
There have been times where I would see this
Jax feels really good right here, actually. I think Jax is actually a super good R5. Not that, I mean, Doran played it in their last series. But, you're going to be able to dodge a lot of the damage coming out of Ezreal and Zeri. And do you actually care about getting pulled in by the Blitz? No, because you can just press Counter-Strike, right? Plus, you win side lanes. The Jax pick actually seems really good here.
About that, but he had actually his best performance on this pick into tier 1. It also means that Sejuani is something to play for, which we are always, really big haters of.
Jerky's Minion, how did you gain 12 kilos in 3 weeks? Holy moly.
Kind of feels like a throwaway pick.
What did you do to yourself, buddy?
Things with Ezreal that we haven't really seen used for recently because he was super busted and winning early lanes is that you can just leave him alone and have your support roam. And when it comes to roam impact, I think Lehen's, his Blitzcrank is like the highest in the LCK out of anyone, because the amount of stuff that he does, ludicrous. Always go back to the example of Genji at MSI, where Pace got a 28 kill.
Oh, the Belgian Duval diet for drinking. Yeah,
Everyone was talking about
Pace,
that.
that's true.
How many kills does he need to get
Well, I
people to
don't-
talk about him?
Crepo used to tell me about the Duval diet.
The team's a bit of a
He starts winning on Ziggs. Everybody just starts talking about how Ziggs is OP.
yeah.
I mean, Pace is great.
He is. I am not as confident about Humble Life's draft as I have about a lot of what they had in the previous game.
Otherwise, they might. Between these two, again, for stakes, the winner of this one goes directly to the grand final.
13 to 14 Duvals a day. Holy shit, dude.
Just
Dude, the Belgian diet, when you start drinking all that beer and then you just have a bunch of fries with mayo, holy shit.
Win this. So we'll see if Gen G, the expected victor, can pick it up, or will HLE esports get the upset tonight?
As we are taking a look at the level 1s here, Deep Invade coming through from Hanwha, both teams stacking up as 5. Main thing of note is that Pace has actually gone for TP here. This is something we've seen more and more. It started out obviously, oh, they're not going to be able to...
Hey man, I've been in Belgium. I've enjoyed that too.
There is a ward somewhere there.
But I do understand how you can gain a lot of weight doing that.
Value right now. So that is a nice win here for Humble Life. And it also is looking likely that Genji is going to commit to the
mayo on fries is great.
Should not come as a surprise. Peanut, however, is not
Give me some of that moule frite, the mayo. Oh my god, all right, so lane swap coming in.
Oh, they're not going to be able to sweep. That Genji is going
Delayed invade, so we have push here in the top side.
When Genji are extremely comfortable in lane swaps. We already see one here in game 1. Our space did cover that we've seen more lane swaps than...
Interesting, there is a different kind of lane swap than we've been seeing recently in LCK, where we actually have the top laner in the mid lane,
it's also, again, when you are
as opposed to support mid lane and top laner with the 80 carry.
Lane swaps are kind of a dream come true. Obviously, early levels for Cassante are quite rough into the Jax. So right now, we are seeing them not go for the variety, which we've seen as well, where the top laner is in the top lane with the AD carry and then shares experience there, which is what Humble Life is doing. Instead, they're having him just on mid. Pace is stacking a big wave. Obviously, Ezreal does have a little bit of additional turret damage with his W, but this early on, not really going to be doing a lot of chunking. So Gen G are taking a decent loss when it comes to the gold, but they are just doing this to ensure that they also don't run into like the early levels into the MF and Nautilus, which is obviously going to be a really rough scenario as well. Looking at the experience here, the light is a little bit behind, but I imagine that will equalize relatively soon, as Keen should know that as of right now, walking off.
You think this year we're finally going to have 4 of LPL and LCK that are going to quarters? No, because the Swiss system is incredibly stupid, so it'll squeeze some turd through, you know what I mean? The Swiss system will squeeze some turd into the quarters. Interesting TP by Ezreal, though, because Pace is able to take TP this game, because they plan to do lane swap. And also, you know, you get the TP on the Ezreal, and you just have the Ezreal solo in lane. And then you have the Blitzcrank running the map.
Nautilus, which is obviously going to be a really rough scenario as well. Looking at the experience here, the light is a little bit behind, but I imagine that will equalize relatively soon. As Keen,
so Keen just going to walk up on this, but they are already prepared for the dive. 4 players bot side.
Not quite, and look at this, actually he hasn't skilled anything yet. So just waiting, seeing if he is going to have to like use his W, bait something out.
Yeah, you saw that hook almost hit him. He still didn't skill anything. So just ice cold from this man. And now we got a TP coming in. Already 3 plates going the way, but now we got a dive here. Lands in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to flash into the turret, but the damage is there. Down he goes. First blood given over to Viper. As Gen G, they say, well, sorry, Lahens, you're kind of the sacrifice here as we try to get under our bot lane turret.
And the idea there from Gen G is we have the teleport, so we can get Pace to the turret and then try to fight. Oh, that would have been a really big catch if he could have gotten it. Not going to be the case. But instead, Humble Life read the play actually have the extra member
Phelpsmaster
there.
9000.
Just ends up going down.
Hey, Monty, which Greek goddess is just over 3 feet tall? Demeter.
Really big win here, because Humble is always going to be ahead in terms of gold, but now even further accelerated.
Very funny. Welcome back.
And Keen obviously is going to be able to catch this wave, so looks like he's going to be really far behind right now. We'll be fine as long as he catches most of what is currently being shoved into his turret. Peanut's also not near the top half of the map. As we
trying to push the Jacks away, but Doran just kind of got ahead of him, and maybe that was part of it. They're like, okay.
Doran on Cull now as well. This is a very good situation. They got a very good situation for Jack's assist into Cull. Ahead at XP. Yeah, the denying the wave for Keen was very important there. He couldn't actually get it very easily, especially with Blitz killed.
Taking some Raptors away, but now this means that for the moment, so they just get a nice little objective in this game.
And one of the things Gen G have done in the past really well is get early advantage through lane swaps and then turn that into very early objective leads, because they are the ones first to the objective. And it's actually flipped on its head now, whereas Humble Life with a very aggressive early game. The wave state here is a little bit dicey.
Dude, was Cadril co-streaming the LCS games this morning? I didn't see. I looked at Twitch very briefly and I didn't see him on.
So he's sitting on
I saw that they had like 55,000 viewers in Game 5 on the main Twitch stream, which seems like it's garbage.
Laning phases are looking good for Hanwha Life.
A few games he did. Okay, so I just saw it at the end when I woke up. But man, that's pretty bad viewership. It's also just extra bad that Cadril pieces out. They should be begging Cadril to co-stream LCS at this point. I remember when a regular season game would easily hit 200K. I remember when CLG versus TSM would hit 400.
And that's to send 4 people block. And we'll see if it works out. And they're just going to deal with the Lehens once again. Nice hook into the turret, though, as Peanut does get low, but it does not matter. Pay's going to kill. Actually, Delight, and now Toby's here. And this dive is going absolutely wrong for the side of Humble esports. They get that initial kill, but it was just a bait for the carry to deal with the edge.
Why the Nautilus was not picked to deal with Ezreal.
No. But Humble esports, they have a
interesting play here because the Maokai isn't even on this side of the map. The Maokai is actually just going for grubs. So they get the kill, but Delight goes down, and then, oh my god, Chovy on the faster roam. This is illegal, by the way. Like, how is Gen G able to get grubs and pull this at the same time? It's an overcommit by Hanwha. They could have actually just gotten the turret here. But they're actually taking a lot of tower damage because they were actually in tower range. That's terrible.
They get that initial kill, but it was just a bait for the carries to get fed.
Oh, right idea, trying to punish even further, but
I think you should just zone out and take the turret there. Like there should be comms from Zeka being like, "Hey, the Zeri's coming down. Zeri actually much stronger than me." I mean, look at this motherfucker. Look at this motherfucker. He's got tier Cull. He is useless. Useless. He's a tier Cull smolder.
Execution leaves a lot to be desired, even with the aftershock. Peanut trying to tank up, but the arrival of Chovy there is the biggest part of why that play backfires the way that it does. As we take another look.
Well, I think they didn't think that they were in turret range, so Delight actually took a lot. He took a couple turret shots there, which was really it. But we could have just zoned them off. We could have just zoned them out. Chovy wouldn't have been able to do anything with a good zone there.
Tried to stop him, but it's a level 6 Zeri. He's Smolder, so
he's tier Cull Smolder. It's even worse, guys.
Working out, but that is a lot of gold back into Pays, and now the gold is basically even again, Valdez.
Yeah, and the issue with this that we oftentimes talk about is you got to look where the gold is. I mean, it's on Chovy, who is 2-0 on Zeri 7 minutes into the game. I mean, you can stamp that as a Zeri moment already. And this is the issue when you're facing against Gen G. It's like, yeah, you banned out their main stuff that they play on this patch, but they're always going to have 2 carries. As Lehen's in a bit of trouble here, doesn't have to flash. Keen getting pretty low. Under the turret, just going to smack it down. Gets the 1v1. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Canyon and Lehen's getting bullied away. So Still, Hanwha Life Esports finding some wins here.
I'm loving this from Hanwha as well, to really over-index on the early aggression. Go as hard as you can. Try, and because this is where Gen G have seen the weakest, try and get as much out of this early game. We saw a backfire in the previous play, but Doran going super aggressive, even though he's sitting on a call. Chovy doesn't have sums. Peanut's waiting, but doesn't look like he's actually going to be able to get something. And this is the early cash out that Hanwha gets because of the lane swap, right? They got a ton of early damage as we take another look at this play from Doran's POV.
Stops the back and then
he actually does get the leaf strike back in, and that's unlucky. Because Keen tries to push him out, but the timing's just off right. Pushes him out, walks back, but he still has leaf strike, and the counter strike is still channeling, so he gets the stun. Nice flash.
To shove back.
I die to this, he says.
Yeah, shove back. Well, I mean, it kind of should be quizzical because that was a big mistake because it gets the counter strike off. Actually gets the empowered auto, and Doran getting a big solo kill there, because that matchup obviously in the long run is always going to be a disaster, but getting these early kills is going to make a big difference, because something we haven't talked about yet is that just like in the game that we saw previously where Doran picked Jax, Gen G is running a double AD carry comp, and you have Counter-Strike. So
yeah, the Jax pick is really mega here, but they should have expected. I mean, Doran's been playing this pretty consistently.
You have a lot of safety, you can just poke with Q.
Yeah, they also have.
He's really been the only top laner recently, like in playoffs and LCK, who's preferred the Jax.
Just because they're not just tanky, but they're some of the best disengaged champs in the game with the Cassante and the Maokai. So there are still tools within. Then for sure. I mean, they do have some angles here.
Jax getting really far ahead early too, prevents the Cassante from winning that matchup.
To be a top laner, that's how you got to be. Got to be ready to go in and go crazy. Double call actually on Hanwha Life, so that's going to be a big further influx of gold once it gets to it. As the teleport comes in, maybe looking for a dive here. Only TP on Pays.
Kane does not have Ghost, but he's just going to walk away. But the issue with this is that Hanwha Life Esports are getting so much value out of the plates, and now Delight does come in. He's only level 5, and that can be canceled. But Hanwha Life Esports, nice map movements here to come up and just gather a bunch of plates for their team in the top lane.
Chovy hasn't backed in a long time, so not going to have as much damage to the turret as he otherwise could. Looks like top lane turret is just going to fall here as Hanwha Life take the grubs, denying the 6 grubs to Gen G as well.
Nice topside movement. Okay, MF has PT, now MF solos mid.
Close to triple carry. So you are actually going to possibly struggle.
Love to have the extra shielding and stats on the side of Hanwha Life Esports. They would just love to begin stacking those up. So wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of these Drakes get pretty feisty in terms of the fights we see around them.
Nah, I think Gen G probably gives up the next Drake. Maybe they see if they can play with Vision and get a pick, but
position many a time before, which is why we're with. And it isn't really an easy answer as Chovy is pushing up quite far. They will spot Peanut. That alone should be enough to keep him safe. Canyon's also there and obviously has incredible disengage. But I like that Hanwha Life is continuously poking and prodding, looking for an opening. There's a Peanut actually going for the locket as well. Really do like that. The extra beefiness, I think, is going to make a big difference into the Gen G composition.
Yeah, you mentioned the side lane. This is already a problem.
He doesn't have Triforce yet.
He doesn't have Triforce. Keen is down a level, and essentially he's just a punching bag. I mean, Keen doesn't really do much in a side lane against the Jax, which is, you know, you mentioned it before, the Nautilus, it feels like, oh, okay, well, you got some answers into the Zeri.
Well, Zeka's going to get free stacks at this point in time.
Utilize it and really change the game.
And they actually just can't stop the Jax pressure. It's going to be pretty annoying, especially they've got 2 calls that are about to pop.
Yeah, Nautilus is not very tanky right now, so he's just going to have to flash away. He's got a Giant's Belt, and he's not able to proc Aftershock in that case. So Lehens will very happily hook the Nautilus at any time in this mid game.
You see the ward that Lehens played in mid as well? That's the type of ward that, as you can see, like, Peanut's not going to see that as easily. It's not going to get swept out than when you just put it over the wall of the river. But it still is going to give you a pretty good estimation and allows you to fish for these hooks. humbling.
We're all human.
Good vision control by Blitz.
Of us. And I think that it's
Actually
very
helps
big
secure
to
them
highlight
the
that
Rift
one
Herald.
little thing. You know, it's like, oh, well, Delight didn't die. It's not that big of a deal. But it really does open up the map now because Gen G, you give them an inch, they'll take a mine around the map, to try to solidify.
Sitting at what, like 175 CS. I think Zeka isn't quite as strong yet as ideally you want him to be. They do have the double cash out on. This is talking about them with a gold lead. Main issue is that once Maokai gets set up in a position, especially when paired with Blitzcrank, a single misstep can be enough, and we do see both top laners having.
Not sure Gen G really wants to go for this unless they can actually affect a pick early. Okay, well, they get control of Banana Brush, so actually the Blitz is very dangerous now because they have control over mid brush and Banana. Yeah, it's free Drake now.
At the moment, it's just kind of peanut.
Or is it?
No TP from Doran yet. I would assume he goes for it, but the Maokai ultimate zones him away, and it goes to both teams. So you would imagine.
I think Peanut smited that, and the Blitz actually got the last hit.
No TP from Doran yet. I would assume he goes for it, but the Maokai.
Yeah, it was at 37 HP here. The Blitz ult steals it.
Zones him away, and it goes to Blitzcrank of all people. Peanut's in there alone, and now we got TPs for the bullet time. It's huge, but look at this one. Pulls Doran into the team, allows him to get a kill and get out. So Keen still not enjoying that matchup, but the Drake did go over to Gen G, which I'm sure HLE Esports not going to be too happy about.
Yeah, the Keen something.
Gen G's playing pretty well even with the deficit.
It's not quite dragging a cannon into your team.
But I think Hanwha knows that I mean, look, it's only the second Drake of the game for Gen G, and you know, getting a pick and losing a team fight here is, and because like if they lose a player, then they give up Dragon, then they give up a tower because there's a Herald that's gonna get dropped by Gen G. Did I catch the LPL finals? No, I haven't seen those yet. I'll stream them tomorrow or next day.
To just turn onto Peanut, but they don't actually have the damage. That was a smite from like, I don't know, like
it was a smite
12,
from Peanut.
Yeah, 12-25.
Yeah, he smited so slightly early that Lehen's ulted at the same time, which gave him the kill with like 25 damage.
Very funny. Indeed, it's a really big moment because for Humble Life that could have been a straight up win, as we do have Chovy sitting on 2 items, and yet he sees Doran and he's like, I don't want to get too close to that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different players in this game and a lot of different carries that can do some amazing things. I mean, you take a look at Zeka, he's also in the game. We haven't talked about Smolder at all, right? Like, HLE Esports are going to have that late game carry potential.
Does Blitz ult stop smiting? No. Silence doesn't stop smite.
I way overestimated that. He's only about 400.
It stops flash and TP,
have gotten a couple of turrets
I believe.
And stuff to help him catch up.
And it's going to have to be a really big team fighting performance because there's a lot that Gen G needs to do right? They need to ensure that Viper doesn't just wipe them with a nuke because there's a good amount of lockdown on the enemy team. And we're all
I'm sad because the best NA team is 4 Koreans. No, it's not.
also going to slowly get to the point where Zach
Yun is American.
Really catch on Peanut.
Yeah, Peanut's kind of just
Suppress stops smite. Oh, yes, Suppress does. So like Mal's ults will stop it, but that's the only thing that can stop smite. Yep.
And they pull him into the Ezreal. He flashes and he gets all outed.
It is kind of weird that summoner spells are treated differently by effects like that. It's incredibly stupid. Don't get me wrong. Like I think silence should stop smite personally.
Out of the dash.
Korean American, so he's still American. What's his fucking citizenship?
As we're gonna do a bit of damage here to this shirt.
We can't split hairs about an immigrant country like America, can we?
Doran has so much pressure in the sideline.
Little redemption moment for Keen there. Has the all-out at the perfect timing. We've seen this interaction a lot. As long as it is actually going through, doesn't matter if you dash, doesn't matter if you flash, you will get caught. And
we're going to do a bit of damage here to this turret. Doesn't look like Gen G are going to stay.
Yeah, HLE's patience is very good here because like they're just gonna the Jax is gonna become unstoppable in the split. And they've got a gold lead, and they're going to keep stacking Smolder.
As long as it is actually going through, doesn't matter if you dash, doesn't matter if you flash, you will get caught. And Gen G also respond fast enough. It's not the end of the world, though. For Hanwha, they don't lose an objective off the back of this. Peanut not having flash is obviously subpar, as Baron is about to come up. We also have the next Drake within 2 minutes, and denying soul point to Genji I think is going to be a big deal. Because we talked a little bit about why it's good for Genji to deny it. Smolder also relies on slowly being able to take people down. Yeah, it's very straight up. Really nice from Keen to get into the fog there, catches him off guard, and then gets the all out. And also Chovy was there, so I don't even think that would have been enough.
The classic Peanut int into maybe throwing the game.
Little note.
Why was LCS more fun to watch 10 years ago? It wasn't. You're deluded.
Fun to...
It's because, yes, was it because of the organic nature, or that we didn't realize how bad we were? It was before people, because at that time, everybody was just eating up Reginald's bullshit with a spoon. TSM's goal is to win worlds, guys. Yeah, no, it wasn't. You guys were shit.
About any little note.
But, you know, when there was less evidence about how shit they were to plebs who couldn't actually, whose eye test was completely busted, they could delude themselves into thinking NA was good.
But he's Jax as the turret, the TP, it gets denied.
Oh?
Or actually, never mind. Zeka does get in there, and now they're trying to Doran in the side lane. They're trying to get on top of him, but he's Jax as the turret, the TP, it gets denied.
Oh?
Or actually, never mind. Zeka does get in there, and now they're trying to turn this one around, and it is going to be big for Han, but they get the one kill. Keen's on the run, and we got 4 members of Genji here trying to take this fight and trying to get in there, and now got a big Doran in the side lane. They're trying to get on top of him, but he's Jax.
Yeah, maybe diving the Jax isn't the best idea. They do cancel a TP, though.
Or actually, never mind. Zeka does get in. Notes as we got
oh, wait, what the fuck? It looked like it was canceled. He got in, though.
Jax as the turret, the TP.
That is crazy timing that Zeka got in there.
It gets denied.
Oh?
Or actually, never mind. Zeka does
That is crazy. I thought it got denied, too. That looks so weird.
But they get the one kill. Keen's on the run. And we got 4 members of Genji here trying to take this fight and trying to get out. Peanut looking for the engage, but he's so low. It's now the light going to flash in. He gets that reliable Nautilus engage, and there's more going the way of HLE esports. A lot of low health bars though.
Genji is guaranteed their spot in Worlds. I believe so. I believe that's true now that they've made finals.
Not enough vision and no front line for Genji. 3 kills go to Hanwha Life.
And that's a big golden flux for Hanwha, just
because it's the top 2 teams, I believe.
For this Dragon, possible soul point on the table for Genji, and if they had vision,
the winner qualifies for Worlds, but the championship points team also qualifies for Worlds.
If they get the cancel onto this,
so basically, guys, the problem is that if they take first place, then they qualify for Worlds, which they can still do. But also, they have the highest number of championship points. And the most that anyone else can get right now, the most is an auto-qualify. So if anybody else wins Summer, then that team auto-qualifies, and no one else can catch up to Genji in points. So that's it. Yes, they're qualified.
Zeka isn't there, and then they'd have a numbers advantage with the TP coming in, but instead they use...
Didn't Genji qualify just by making playoffs as the MSI champion? God damn, I forgot all the new rules. Maybe. That sounds right. That sounds right, the second watermelon. Winner qualifies for the World Championship. The spot will only become effective if the winning team reaches the playoffs. Yeah, you're right. So you're absolutely correct. So because they won, Kalior Lol, welcome back. Thank you very much.
A lot of resources trying to kill Jax. Doran can even go for the re-engage.
So basically, Genji has already qualified twice.
And then all the gold
is the answer.
For Genji is on Chovy and Pace. But if the front line just gets chipped down one by one and Chovy gets CC'd, there really isn't a whole lot that they can do, as we see here.
Who wins, DK or SKT? DK.
Items, but if there's no vision, if you jump in, it's going to end up getting taken down. You want to look as well at the sums that he used. No flash for Chovy. And a lot of...
Who is your favorite cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine? Ooh. Probably Wesley Snipes. Although what they did with Chris Evans as the Human Torch was pretty funny. Are you doing Fly TL after? I'll probably do that tomorrow.
Delay caught out a bit here, but he's actually got his whole team with them. And yeah, there's nobody else there for Genji.
No damage.
Looks nice, but one hook isn't enough.
I like how Hanwha's playing this game a lot. They really have snowballed the lane swap situation super well.
Not going to hit Peanut. And HLE esports to get the Drake, they get out. and they should be very happy about their current spot in this game.
Really are. Don't know what the smaller stacks are at as we are sieging mid.
Might be able to get this one, but Mom comes down and denies it. And the knockback not going to happen, but now the counter engage comes out, and the bullet time is huge. Look at that damage on the Canyon, as in goes Zeka, assassinates Canyon. And that's 2 more kills and maybe a Baron to Hama Life.
And he got a high five earlier. Little Zeka fan losing his mind as he flashes forward. And now they start up Nash and Hama Life in this game 1. Doing an absolutely stellar job.
I mean, that mid-fight, once again, Gen G are doing things that have worked against many a team, including Hama Life esports themselves.
Been loving the podcast you're making with Doa. Thank you. We're starting, Doa and I are starting our project of watching every single sword and sorcery movie of the 1980s.
If Lance hits his hook, then maybe he can turn the play around, but they straight up get hooked. Viper's positioning is great. And the front line just can't tank the amount of damage if you're standing in bullet times and diving turrets.
Yeah, this just feels desperate from Gen G. The Jax pick was mega, and also the Jax got giga fed in the lane swap, so now it's just impossible for them.
Especially with the onto a Blitzcrank, right, to get the fight started. And that's after Maokai ultimate has been used. A lot of times you talk about the Maokai, then it opens up a perfect opportunity for Hama Life esports to engage.
Now the question becomes, how much can Hanwha get with this setup, right? With the dragon that they got as 222 stacks, Zeka about to become...
How does Ezreal and Zeri kill Jax? Yeah, exactly.
Been doing a solid amount of damage, as we saw.
It's like Doran's known Jax pocket pick. Surprise Pikachu.jpg R5.
Knowing that they are facing a composition that outside of the true damage...
Doran. And that little... does give a little opportunity for Hama Life esports now with Maokai ultimate down to push in the bottom lane.
So they need like a crazy hook from Lahens or something.
Well, clear the wave with Mom, and I mean, they need an engage. Here we go, the bullet time. Canyon is so tanky though. They're trying to turn it on a Peanut, but the burn coming out from the smolder is huge. Peanut getting very low. This Pace really wanted to punish that one. Not gonna happen. Keen, again, doesn't really exist. Doran just kind of just kind of making this tough play.
Given a lot of credit to their team fighting it to them consistently.
This game is over.
Big issue as well for Gen G,
unless the biggest blitz hook of all time happens.
On a 2-level lead.
Even if it does, it's going to be really hard to hook the right person because you don't want to hook Sedge, Not, or Jax, and those are the people who can easily just body block for the rest of the team. I'm sad, man. I love Lahen's Blitzcrank.
That doesn't matter. Has been having a very rough game of Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, he got a couple of nice hooks, but after that, it was kind of just, you know, playing. You wonder what Gen G are about 6,000.
Okay, free Drake.
Not flash the twisted advance. That is the only question I have. Doran in
oh, they kill him.
Trouble. There are 4
Took 4 of them.
Gen G in the bottom lane, trying to predict the flash.
I mean, it's a good call because there isn't Baron up right now.
Definitely the right choice. Also going to be I think Gen
he's okay. The hook comes out. He gets immediately burned down. Big fight win to Hama.
At the red. I don't think there's any way that he's going to be able to get in the pit.
Unless they let him. But yeah, the light's going to come in. That's a kill onto Doran. But it's just one
Dolan.
Kill. The Rebel Baron power play here for the side of Hama Life esports going to be much, much better. Maybe to get this mid-inner, you know, it's an objective bounty for Gen G. We don't see those too often. Let's take a look at this fight once again.
So we have an attempted setup, but like you're going in the front line. Well, Viper is right there. And if they like immediately blow up this fight, then maybe it's enough. But they tried to use the window where Doran was dead. But Doran wasn't dead for very long, as we can see, because he's in the fight very early on.
Yeah.
Does get caught off guard here by Pace. He does still do a lot of damage.
I was killing with True Shot Barrage. Very funny. All right, well, Doran's happy gaming a little bit. It actually sucks, too, because they would really like the Jax to have the Baron buff in this scenario.
In this game. And let's see, an ult comes in on the Canyon. He's a Maokai, but it doesn't matter. They just have way too much damage, and the Maokai ultimate does come out, but They're not going to have any follow-up after that, and they don't deny the kill onto Canyon either.
Also, wouldn't mind a smaller ban. About to end it here.
Yeah, they're trying to do exactly and finish.
Now, to be honest, don't think it matters. Zeka, oh, love the Leandris as well, making these already paper-thin frontliners feel like they're worth even less, as Chovy desperately wants to clear this topside wave so that he can TP towards the play.
Lens is trying to be his
They can also just
sneakiest
run
self.
in. They can just give this up.
Yeah, true.
They would want to.
But how like esports, they say, no, we're very far ahead. We can chip damage with the smolder. Doran's got a fantastic angle, and the Sedge ultimate doesn't do much, but now it's just a flip. Toby is in the pain. It does go the way
Now
of
he
How Life
uses
Esports,
Zhonya's.
so they get the soul, pays in a lot of trouble.
Very good. All right.
Gets a form that we already.
They get bounce soul. Game over. All right. Well, that one was pretty straightforward, guys. Here, guys, I'll show you the trailer of the movie that Doe and I are going to do on Nerd Legion as the kickoff for our 1980s Sword and Sorcery arc. It's called Hawk the Slayer. The full movie's on YouTube, by the way.
Two blood brothers, out for each other.
You have found the power which is rightly mine.
The firstborn brother, they called him Voltan. Enter, Dark One. The devil's agent, the servant of evil.
Kill him!
The second-born brother, they called him Hawk. He had one secret weapon, the ancient power of the Sword of Mind, and he was out for revenge.
Last thing you will ever see is the woman you love in my arms.
I am ready. Two brothers.
I haven't seen this
Two
yet.
armies. Two forces of
Whoa.
good and evil.
A fully automatic crossbow. Cool.
Voltan's army, the devil's army, and Hawks.
They showed the same clip twice.
A giant,
He caught a fish.
an elfin bowman, a witch, and Hawk.
Fully automatic bow and fully automatic crossbow.
Together, they took on the mighty Voltan. Together, they took on the devil's agent. Two blood brothers, with only blood between them.
What else would they have between them besides blood? That's usually what brothers have between them.
Beyond the edge of darkness, there is a world of sword and sorcery.
There you guys go. The full movie is actually on YouTube though. How did you feel about The Green Knight? So it was an A24 film, and obviously, like, I'm a huge fan of Arthurian romances. I liked it. It was quite clearly very different than the literary work, but I thought it was kind of an effective take on it for, you know, the 2020s. Like, I thought it had kind of an interesting take on the role of duty. It's very straightforward in The Green Knight, right? Because Gawain just keeps his word. But it was like, it was more of a torturous path to keeping his own word in this one, and him kind of being a piece of shit. It was very weird, but I thought it was quite good. Have you seen the card game The Sorcery Contested Realm? No, I haven't. What is that? I'm gonna look it up. Oh, it's like an 80s style. Huh.
I'm a big fan personally.
GF wanted to have sexy time after dinner, but I said I prefer Monty stream instead. So I'm sleeping outside tonight. Wow. I know I'm good looking, but you should probably pay attention to your lady friend. The Terminator anime on Netflix. I heard it's good. The Terminator anime.
Very good adaptation. Canyon and particularly Keen Alliance, I think, having a bit of a rough one in that game. It's going to have to be a bit
anyway. Watch Hawk the Slayer.
Right there. I know the Ivern is still available, but while I think Ivern is strong, I don't think that Ivern is quite as oppressive in many ways.
The Hawk the Slayer thing, Doa and I should probably just do watch-alongs on YouTube.
Especially not when you pick up the early Smolder, and this pick just keeps rising in priority.
Yeah.
Valdez.
Something I like about Genji's drafting is that they don't wait 2 games in a best of 5 to make big changes.
Are you interested in 2x KO at all? No. I've never really played fighting games, guys, and I don't really care about them.
If we're very ready for that, let's change it.
You think someone has already made a Hawk Tua the Slayer porn parody? God damn it, I was going to make that joke.
Up. They're very confident that they can play multiple different styles. They don't have to stick to one. They don't have to play
the gay porn version is just called Hawk Tua the Gayer.
Maokai, and they just ban it away, and they take the Smolder down, and they say, okay, we're going to play a
all right,
totally different
Smolder up first this time. I guess we're just in B1 Smolder territory.
Kind of is pretty meta nowadays, but
now that they've banned the Maokai, Sejuani, and Vi, so they've triple banned Peanuts. They left the Ivern up this time.
I do like this kind of flex in game number 2, at least, as the MF, very high priority for the side of Viper. Zyra being hovered for Peanut, and it will be locked in.
Two brothers, but nothing. Oh, 2 brothers with nothing but fucking between them. Hawk Tua the Gayer. Thank you, Missing Matter. I spiced it up for you.
Yeah, there we go. The Maokai performance was not satisfactory, and you can see the joy.
That's my movie voice. Guys, how was it?
Canyon always looks exactly the same, but he gets to play Nidalee, which we all know he absolutely adores.
So we're taking Zyra for Peanut, Canyon back on the Nidalee and Cassante.
Bot lane Smolder was still a possibility. We've just not. You go.
Yeah, we can't take the Yasuo there because I'm not sure if both Doran and Zeka can play it, and this is like, I mean, it's almost certainly because, you know, we don't see Smolder in bot lane because Tomo doesn't play in this league.
Yeah, absolutely.
So almost certainly mid lane Smolder here. They're able to deny some possible mid laners. It's interesting that most Smolder players are just confident in any matchup these days.
How insanely strong
so instead we get support bans.
So we go Kalista.
Ooh, wow, it's been a while since we've seen Kalista. Oh my god, Renata's immense here. Renata is immense here, guys. Low mobility MF. Able to interrupt MF ult. Can stop Renekton and Yone dive. Oh, Renata is chef's kiss. Mwah, mwah.
Dropped in priority for sure. And this is an extremely aggressive bottom lane with still a good amount of late game fallback. Does mean that your engage is pretty lackluster, but you look at the Hanwha comp, I don't think you're too worried, and Renata does go really hard into what...
Where's Gragas in this meta? Great question.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like, Gragas should be able to be played into Renekton, right?
Also, eventually can get to the back line and deal with...
I don't know if I'd take Leona here. All right, well, it's mandatory lane swap time for Hanwha.
pretty good into Leona.
Ah, man, I really like Genji's draft this time around. I really like Genji's draft. The Nidalee seems a bit random, but it's Canyon, so we forgive him. But man, like standard lanes will be very unkind
But Leona just picked
to Hanwha. And so they have to lane swap, but then the Renekton gets ahead or gets behind, right? So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. The Casante's going to have a lot more value.
Makes sense that they pick it up in the spot.
There's also very kind of low range. I mean, sure, you have MF and Zyra, but both MF and Zyra. So the thing about MF and Zyra is MF is strong in lane and you get BT and then you can kind of just hold your own. But if MF goes mid, right? If MF... This is my really scuffed Summoner's Rift. If MF goes mid, then the Smolder can just sit here and farm, right? Once she gets BT. And you should be able to get huge advantages if you end up in the 2 versus 2. And the MF and the Zyra are better at kiting. Like the best MFs right now will save ults for counter engage, and then Zyra needs to kite. They need Leona because they have to have some form of engage, guys, but also any form of engage gets countered by Renata. I really like Genji's comp here, actually.
Now I'm wondering if Hanwha Life is going to look for a lane swap. Renata, Kalista is probably the strongest 2v2 lane that we still have, especially after the archery bot lanes have kind of fallen out.
I mean, you've got Caitlyn Lux too, and you have Ezreal Karma that are played. So I don't really agree with Chronicler there. There are a few strong pushing lanes.
Composition, which is something they've been able to work around before, but Nidalee to me,
as Karma's probably the strongest lane.
The best setup you have is Cassante, who isn't, you know, on the level of something like a Renekton where you have guaranteed easy point and click. You do lockdown.
This says loss, win, win, win. So it's somebody who's a Genji fan calling for the 3-1.
Who to actually pull off. That said, when it comes to Canyon and Italy, you do kind of just trust them, even though the pick has fallen off considerably. And
that says pays.
Echo again. I think that Canyon in that last game just didn't have the impact that he needed to. Expect to see something very different this time around on the Nidalee.
That's what you would hope for if you're picking Nidalee, and it is Canyons. Give Zeka Yone, though. We'll see how it goes here for game number 2. Upper bracket match.
To the amount of upfront burst that's available for Hanwha, that actually can end up being a really big difference maker in some of these early to mid game skirmishes, where Hanwha Life is going to be looking to just burst out. It made sense in the last game, but Hanwha Life did turn it around very nicely. Could be looking towards an invade here, though. I do have a Kalista Renata, so we'll see. Ward has been placed, and we'll get swept here.
You're going to hit the spear onto Zeka already. Peanut Dasan is red, so this invade definitely happening at this point in time. Delight and Viper trying to spot this. But Canyon's just going to start on the Wolves. So some question mark pings coming in. They don't know 100%, but they have.
Is there more feminine presence at venues in Korea than NA? Yes, by a lot. That's always been true of Korean esports, though.
Just kind of running through that, and he is going to get a shield up, but nice little trade from Delight and Viper.
Yeah, good early trade to come through here from the Hanwha Life bot lane. Obviously not too much of an issue for Lahens. Yeah, there we see so.
In China as well, yeah.
Chovy going for both grasp and bone plating, so really looking to be as durable as possible. And the main reason why we've seen the small.
Can you briefly explain why J4 and Graves are no longer meta? Well, Jarvan is actually fringe meta. We actually saw him played in LCK playoffs. But in general, guys, there's kind of, let's talk about the jungle meta. So in general, because of the strength of double AD carry right now, you need AP somewhere. Okay, and you're not typically having AP top laners at the current point in time, but of course you could have Rumble, right? But Rumble's just banned all the time. And then in jungle, the problem is this: when you have you have to have an AP jungler, and then you want you want Faded Ashes users, right? Because that item is busted, creates very fast clear speeds, super nice recall timing off of full clear into Faded Ashes, 900 gold, right? Or Kennen, yeah, this could be Kennen. But Kennen's kind of ass, I think. Kennen's kind of ass. I'm not really sold on the Kennen. So the other thing is, like, when you don't have an AP top laner or not a damage AP top laner, the question is, why would you take J4, who isn't engage? Because you have non-committal engage with Maokai or Sejuani, right? Because they can just toss out ults. Also, I mean, Maokai is like the best ult in the game. And you have vision control with Maokai. Plus, you can actually build Faded Ashes into Liandry's and deal decent damage on him right now. They need AP somewhere. It's another point for Gragas. Look, man, I'm with you. I don't know why Gragas isn't being played. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would think we'd see more of it. Especially into Renekton. So, like, also J4 scales very badly. Most of the AP champions scale very well. The tanks, the non-commit engage tanks scale very well. So there's some reasons for you.
Very successful as it ended up beating Genji in that KT match. And then we've now kind of gone full circle where people are like, we can
maybe early clear speed. I think
much
it's
harder
mostly
than I
just
expected
like clear
because
speed
there's
after
bot
first
lane.
back.
So it
Faded
just feels
Ashes
like
is
it's
really
back to
just
the
a
spot where
rocket
it
for
was
clear speed.
way back when you were playing in bot lane. And we're seeing Zeka, there's not really a whole lot he can do.
Top Gragas, yeah, not jungle
Gragas.
Gragas. Top Gragas.
Yeah, Peanut's a little bit lost too. Is Jenna Strong really zooming in on that? He goes into his blue side jungle. He's like, well,
Maybe if they just pick Gragas, any teams will swap lanes. Gragas is fine
here, I
lane
guess
swap,
I'm
man.
just gonna go up to the top
You can
side
farm with Q
and
from
try to
distance.
take away some of Canyon's jungle. Should be successful at that, especially with the Renekton on the top side. It does allow you a little bit of extra safety. And meanwhile, Canyon just trying to hit level 3 and maybe with the stacked wave and bot, look to get a dive going.
Grass Smolder, you've seen this before? No, but Smolder getting tankiness off of melees. Grass Smolder has been played in top lane a lot.
That is a great adaptation from what was a pretty lackluster. Did you have a level 2, but still you can definitely dive this, especially with bailout.
Meanwhile, I mean, Zeka is taking a decent trade, but here's the dive. Viper getting pretty low. The Ignite is in. His first blood going over to Callisto, but now the turn.
Okay, so they actually forced the Renekton TP here.
Yeah, that is
I mean, it's a good heads-up play by Doran, honestly.
Pretty lackluster. Did you have a level 2, but still you can definitely dive this, especially with bailout.
Meanwhile, I mean, Zeka is taking a decent trade, but here's the dive. Viper getting pretty low. The Ignite is
Looked like handshake missed there. Unlucky.
But now the turnarounds here. And at the end of the day, I mean, they take out Viper. He's denied all of this farm.
That is that's a garbage use of TP though. That is a garbage use of TP. That is so bad. It's gonna be free recall for Cassandra. He can walk to lane. Oh, Zeka has to TP top K. Renekton bot. Are we just gonna swap up early for grubs? Oh man, this feels so bad. So MF reassigns to mid lane because she's respawning, and they TP top to catch the wave, and so Renekton bot. But now we're just gonna get everybody piling into top side. Cassante walks back. Cassante. I don't think Cassante needs to TP here. Maybe he does because he took a delayed back. He does actually. But really bad TP. Really bad TP.
A lot of the initial CC also goes down on my hands, but it's not the end of the world. Pays and Canyon gets to do their damage, and I just don't think there's really anything you can do in that scenario here for the Hanwha Life bot lane, and even with the TP, plays successful for Genji.
Yeah, I feel like the bailout also enabled, maybe it didn't enable it, but maybe denied the first blood away. I was thinking.
I do like in how they do these early jungle pathing graphics now.
Anyway, gave an extra turret shot over to Lehens.
It LCK is awesome.
Oh yeah, look.
Alright, Keen does TP top side.
Basically, the polar opposite will happen in the last game. What I do like is again these.
Nobody's swapping top.
Even on a pick that
Daly's gonna play bot side. Smolder's pushed in. This should be a good opportunity to take early Drake here.
At all. Like Keen
for
is
Genji.
picking Cassante, and then he has to lose.
Give up early grubs. They shouldn't care about that. Keen playing pretty far back. Yep. Immediate Drake take of spawn.
POG in the last game as well, because he was able to make a lot happen even despite that. And Dragon is going to go over. So Genji really course correcting after what was a very, very solid game number 1 by Hanwha Life with so a good amount of mistakes, I think, on the Genji side as the grass stacks. And the Smolder stacks are being farmed up.
This is the issue about playing Yone into this is Lehens. Wow, gonna trade flashes here with Peanut. That is a trade up for Gen G. But yeah, you're playing Yone. It's a melee match into Smolder, who you might expect, hey, you know, early on, probably not that strong, but Smolder's just sitting there stacking a million stacks and stacking also the grasp stacks, and you don't really have much kill pressure at all because, yeah, you get Chovy low, maybe you push him out, Zeka's looking for it now, but, you know, eventually Chovy hits 6 himself, he throws down.
I think
bomb,
Gragas got a nerf
safe,
recently. I'm looking
still.
it up. 14-13, his passive got a 1% max health healing reduction from 6.5 to 5.5%. A few patches ago, he got his base health reduced. Barrel roll being 80 mana at all ranks. Maybe problematic in the late game, but he probably has mana items at that point in time, so maybe not. I don't know. Doesn't seem like that bad. Maybe I'm wrong.
And at the end of the day, I mean, Chovy's just sitting there farming and getting stacks, and Zeka isn't really doing anything at this point in time.
Really isn't, and oh, look at the bot lane wave state as well.
Ooh,
This
it's a
is
freeze.
kind of a nightmare scenario where you are playing in a 2v2 that is heavily lopsided already. Paze also was able to pick up an early kill, making it even worse. Another confirmation as well that Peanut's on the top half of the map, so they can just fully deny even with Lehens on a back here. Canyon really wants to smite this. See if he's able to get away with it. Would be very funny.
Might just throw a spear to play it safe. He is going to hit Viper, but that's not his target.
Like, look at this freeze, though.
Yeah. It's really nice that everybody on Gen G seems to know how to freeze and the power of it. I think that's, you know, especially if you're not specifically trying to get an aggressive play going, you might as well just do this, as this has been talked about many.
Yeah, this is actually so annoying. And there's really nothing to take in terms of objectives, so you might as well do freeze and deny right now.
And it's, you know, it's the little things. And Gen G do have just a little lead at this point of 400.
We'll see if Gen G read this, because if they know that
Chovy's ability to
Viper
trade
and
here
Link
is
will
just
get out
so
of this
crazy.
2v2, there's no TP available. So I actually think this is going to be a colossal amount of gold that's going to go into Gen G. So I think Our Life are basically forced to dive here as Keen. Oh boy.
Well, that wasn't really the dive you were looking for. I mean, they can still try to go for it again. Keen trying to pull the wave.
He's
and
dead.
going on to Viper.
He's dead, so he tried to go onto Viper there. It's whatever.
Decides to get aggressive with it.
The thing is they're going to crash this wave, and they actually just can't TP. Not only because they have no TPs, which obviously means, but even if they did have TP, they can't TP here because Canyon basically, if you look at this, this is what we talk about with Gen G and wave control, right? Is that they freeze, nobody's coming. And then right as they push out, this is when Canyon goes into enemy jungle. So if they come, they can just immediately dive or zone them off the turret, walk through the turret and zone them out and kill them.
There's no
And so the timing is just beautiful here, right?
This is going to be a colossal amount of gold that's going to go into Gen G.
So they see the MF here, like Keen knows that he is the sacrifice, but that's okay.
Well, that wasn't really the dive you were looking for. I mean,
That's
they can
okay.
still try to go for it again. Keen trying to pull the wave and going on to Viper. He knows he really doesn't have anywhere to go.
They're going to deny a lot more on the spot side.
With it, and
Plus they're counter jungling. Their jungler was tied up with that play.
Angle and like pull through the wall, maybe somehow make it out. So Gen G will get the shove towards bot side, is going to get a considerable amount of plates and should also come out ahead in the play trade. But I like the response from Humble Life, right? Like, don't stay in the unplayable 2v2. Instead,
Because Nidalee clears out the entire top side right there.
They are able to get the punish as Keen again. Not the best at times. This time, though, he's not playing.
Misfortune is going to be incredibly weak.
So eventually, he will reach a point where he can play the video game, which that's not, maybe not now, though.
This is also very annoying because they have a ward here. And so Keen is just being super irritating because they want to keep Keen down because it's literally the only thing they can do. But they're going to lose this turret and all the plates on the bot side and trade for it.
Helps that he's not Nasus as well.
Well, reinforcements are on the way.
And now Lehens and Canyon are able to just clear out and rotate. This is dumb by Canyon. This is dumb by Canyon, but whatever.
They're not going to get a takedown. The kill goes to Peanut, and now a massive bullet time goes to Hanwha Life. Viper with a perfect
Nidalee
position,
is
and
not
Hanwha
good
Esports, it was like the next
at countering
level
turret
up.
dives.
They knew that Gen G were going to be there,
That was a little
and
bit
they
silly.
collapsed immediately.
That was a little bit silly.
The trap sets ends up being by Humble Life, and that's why you gift the light. His Leona, beautiful engage on top of the Nidalee.
They actually get first turret from that too. It's pretty bad.
This champion, if you get locked down, you just end up going down.
Okay, now
and
Gen Genius needs to set up for
Life
second Drake.
turning it around early on. This started with their bot lane getting kind of unceremoniously this.
Yeah, that replay's irrelevant.
So heavily. 2 kills going.
This is silly.
As we take another look, I imagine he was like maybe trying to go and either get a trade kill, but then this.
Look at the vision.
Yeah.
It's a great. I mean, Delight makes a great play here. Hex flash into Q.
Yeah,
It's a good lockdown, but
and Gen G end up paying so heavily. 2 kills going.
we should not be allowing them to make that play.
They don't even get the bot lane turret in return, and now
It's literally like the only thing that could have gone right for Hanwha in that situation. They just allowed it to happen. You have to make sure that they're not there.
Stand up to Gen G for the entirety of the year, Valdez.
Yeah, it's turning into a very interesting series because we really liked how Gen G kind of made changes coming into game 2, but now immediately Humble Life Esports are like, yeah, cool changes. We're still going to win this early game. We're still going to be very proactive, and we're still going to play fantastically. So, you know, I wasn't a believer even after game 1, but now seeing this early game, I'm like, man, maybe Humble Life can actually do it. Obviously, it's still very early on here in game 2. I don't want to get too excited, but at the same time, this is looking so much better than we've seen in other series, as you mentioned, between these two teams. And to see Gen G actually be challenged is refreshing.
It really is. And it's necessary, right? We always see when one team is too dominant in the long run, doesn't end up quite working out for both the team and I think the region as a whole. Do note that Paze is monstrously strong. Level 8 right now, basically a solo laner when it comes to the experience, and they do have the Renata ultimate. Taking a bit of a gamble here.
Oh, the aggressive TP, but they're trying to go forward. Everything misses for Humble Life, and Oseka gets hand shook, and he gets shaken down to the ground, taken down.
Bit of a gamble here.
Oh, the aggressive.
This is going to be one of the issues that you see, like we said, with this composition. I mean, the counter engage with Renata ult is so huge, and Zeka goes in, but Smolder's on the backside alongside with Cassante. So they opt into this pincer play, and they all in, but they don't actually catch anybody with Yone ult, and then he just gets filled full of spears. And then there's a re-engage using Kalista ult onto Viper, who's inexplicably on the flank. Paze just hops out and rends him. Yikes, dude. Big ol' yikes.
Basically a solo laner when it comes to the experience, and they do have the Renata ultimate. So Humble Life taking a bit of a gamble here.
Doran TPing from Australia, where well, he is a crocodile.
But they're trying to go forward. Everything misses for Humble Life, and Oseka gets hand shook.
Spec! Thank you for your YouTube membership. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Well, this engage goes horrifically wrong for Hanwha, and Gen Z are looking to punish Viper. A million sticks, and Amiga's taken down. It is down.
Shout out to Doran for TPing into the alcove. Wow, he's big alcove gaming. He's actually just in a brush. No, he literally is in the alcove. Why is there a ward in the alcove?
Return, and now a colossal gold swing here for a team that just
Did Delight just ward the alcove for funsies?
For the entirety of the year, Valdez.
He warded the alcove, dude. That's a big. Have I ever seen an alcove teleport before? No.
I don't want to get too excited.
Doran, the king of alcove gaming.
It really is. And it's necessary, right? We always see when one team is too dominant in the long run, doesn't end up quite working out for both the team and I think the region as a whole. Do note that Paze is monstrously strong. Level 8 right now, basically a solo laner when it
Why
comes
didn't
to
he
the
just
experience, and they
TP
do have
behind
Renata
Pit?
ultimate. So Humble Life taking a bit of a gamble here.
Where is he going?
Oh, the aggressive.
He had lots of choices. There's a control ward. Ward's back here. Why is he there? I guess they thought they were gonna zone them backwards, but everything just fucking misses. Like Peanut walks up, they go in, the Zyra ult misses, the Yone ult whiffs. They counter Renata ult here, ties up Delight. What a weird fight.
And Delight as well. This engage goes horrifically wrong for Hanwha, and Gen G are looking to punish Viper a million.
Lehens also gets bailed out, which is huge.
It is 4 kills to the side of Gen G plus a dragon.
Man, 4 for 0. That is terrible.
Just like that.
All right, calm down, casters. That was a bit much when it comes to cursing.
They proved us wrong.
Yeah. Woo! As I said, Pace insanely far ahead, insanely strong. If the play does not start with taking him out,
I don't know about...
Hanwha Life knew that part, which I appreciate. The problem is, he has...
He also could have... Look, he was about to drop this control ward in the pit. Like, if he drops the control ward in the pit, how come the fucking Renekton doesn't wait?
So, like, this initially looks like a... The problem is...
So, watch this. Cleanse. Flash. And so there is no combo.
I don't know what the idea behind Peanut's ultimate was, but it wasn't quite what it needed to be.
Wow, they just didn't think he was going to cleanse Flash, I guess, even though he had thumbs up.
This is an immense win. He gets out, thanks to the bailout.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, things are looking up. They are able to still get to the required amount of grubs, because Canyon, after that play, immediately went towards top side and only got a single one. So that's a nice little win for Hanwha Life. But that's not ideal, because, again, person getting the kills on Gen...
Especially when the engage support meta was coming in, it's cleansable CC for Leona. And you mentioned it. The second the cleanse comes in, it's just kind of over for Hanwha Life esports. Jovi's just going to kind of...
What the fuck, Jovi?
Will he die, actually? Couple of damage could go into him and take him down. One auto from Peanut will get the kill, but Peanut might have to pay for it.
Peanut still dies somehow.
Face check and die.
Oh my god, he flashed the knockup on the Zyra ult.
One auto from Peanut will get the kill, but Peanut might have to pay for it as Pays is just huge. Gonna pick up his 3rd kill as well.
See how tanky...
How do you trade 1 for 1 right there?
From Peanut will get the kill. For Hanwha Life esports is Jovi's just gonna kind of face check and die. Will he die, actually? Couple of damage could go into him and take him down. One auto from Peanut will get...
I like how Lehens just does the drive-by handshake.
That cleanse, that's the gold. And another look at this. I think the moment you see Peanut walk up there, you know that things are not good. Actually, oh, that was really cutely done by Delight. So Delight actually stuns Lehens to deny him to get in range to get a bailout. That was well done.
Yeah. Nicely done. Ends up being a trade of kills. Peanut gets the shutdown, though, so maybe a little bit of extra gold goes over to him.
Yeah.
Pace did get a 3rd kill, so he's really an issue. We see a lot of times where Callistas can sometimes... There's really not any hard lockdown unless Zeka gets you. So...
I think for Pace in particular, it's also one of those scenarios where his biggest strength is his positioning, and he's had a ton of Kalista games that have gotten a little bit silly when it comes to the kill scores. Want to highlight as well something that isn't going to be relevant now, but Chovy can actually utilize his Q to burn people through the Zyra plans. And it's not something that's very fun to play into as Hanwha Life. I don't know about this. I do. Don't. Yeah, they seem...
Do you or don't you, Chronicler?
They've made the same conclusion, and fortunately, decide the better of it.
Yeah. Definitely a good call. I think if you have a better setup and you're able to catch someone, then maybe, but very nice Rift Herald pit. We're not gonna... Well, actually we will. That is a missed cannon. Chovy trying his best to just farm stacks and kind of messes with...
Bert1234, thank you for a Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate you.
Not the end of the world, but you'd really like to get your Smolder online as soon as possible.
Really is a rare game where Trophy is actually behind in CS. It's Smolder. It's not going to be the end of the world. Has hit 125 now. And also sitting on a good amount of resistances, as mentioned before.
Yeah, so he's actually doing... This is interesting. This is typically the top lane Smolder build. Grasp into Spear first. Spear of Shojin. So this is the tankier iteration.
A really fast stack timer, actually.
Which
say, hey,
makes sense, because if they actually do get on top of you with the Yone, you might be in trouble. So he should have had a lot of Grasp stacks, too.
And so we're probably on pace for like a 21... I would say maybe like a 22 at latest if he gets roped into a bunch of team fights and stuff like that.
It kind of depends who he's up against as well. I feel like against Renekton, it's a little bit easier to get some pot shots, whereas with Yone, obviously, if you misstep, has a lot easier access to getting on top of the smaller. Chovy doesn't have flash still, though. And Homo Life, their composition, I again want to remind you, I think the initial setup has to be good. That's a great start, as FaZe does just kind of face tank that. Does have some sustain, but
I feel like this is happening to Gen G a lot, where they're kind of just running into things. They're extremely confident to just go in, as now, speaking of which, Delight going to get...
The Ocean Soul going to be extremely good with this tankier Smolder, though, in extended fights.
Happening to Gen G a lot, where they're kind of just running into things. They're
to be good. That's a
okay, I don't know what the fuck Delight's doing here, man.
Face tank that. Does have some sustain, but
He has no team. He has no team around him. 3 people in the mid lane, and he's contesting Vision and Banana Brush into a high damage single target, like a high single target damage composition. That is terrible from Delight. Terrible.
Pretty much their most important tool when it comes to the engage, and now they're going to have to give up a 3rd Drake to Gen G. It's Ocean Soul. It's not the biggest deal, but for Gen G, they're going to happily just walk away with the soul if you give it to them.
And this is part of the pivot that we saw Gen G make into heavy early game, right? Right now, sitting at soul point, what is it, like 17 minutes? That's kind of insane, Veldes. Yeah, 17
Yeah, I mean they got an at spawn first Drake. They started Drake at like 5:05. I mean this is just the classic way you want to play with a Callista comp. When bot lane translate into immense soul pressure.
There is only a certain amount of fun that's allowed to be had by a team in League of Legends, and unfortunately for Keen, two games in a row, he's not getting anything. His amount of fun has been giving over to the rest of his teammates. And
Keen has been the sacrificial victim in these games, but it's okay because, you know, getting pays ahead has been completely worth it in this one. He's doing his job.
Yep. And Gen G really capitalizing on that. You saw Viper had the bullet time to wave, so not really able to push them off the turret afterwards. So Gen G, they get that mid-outer. You see Chovy in the top side just trying to farm, just trying to chip away at the turret if possible. And get some... And with no wave available, doesn't look like...
This game is going to be decided the next Drake.
Caught off guard a little bit by the amount of damage that was coming out of Gen G. As, yeah, a bit of a tragic flash there.
Yeah, flash after he got Renekton stunned. Bummer.
And as a result, guaranteed lockdown for... yeah, 1500 gold behind. Not the best of times.
Yeah, I mean, Holy Esports, you know, you look at the golds. Obviously, the gold is in a really nice spot. It's just really their comfort zone, I would say, especially in recent bunch of weeks towards the end of the regular season here in playoffs so far. Holy Esports still have extremely reliable engage. I think the cleanse is still an issue for them on the side of FaZe, but, you know, Chovy gets out of position, you can take him down. Canyon gets out of position, you can take him down, even Lehens. And if you catch them off guard, Life Esports still have a lot of tools in their kit to get some really crispy engages off, and they're really going to have to rely on that if they want to win in this mid game.
I do actually like the defensive itemization that comes through to acknowledge that as well. Canyon already going for at least an arm guard, can build that into a full Zhonya's as well. Imagine FaZe is going to go for the Terminus next, which is another example of an item that really makes you suspiciously beefy as Chovy.
Yeah, the tankiness is actually clocking up here.
Is at 189.
Oh, Fate Skull,
on the side of Gen G. He goes Terminus next.
Does just make it out.
Plus the tankier Smolder build.
Probably not going to be enough. Really, this Baron hit as well, I feel like that's the dream for Renata. Being able to...
Trying to go in on a peanut here. That is a very nice ult from the side of Lehens Store and flashing in, trying to make something happen on a pace, but he's just hopping forward, hops into Leona, and he's got the bailout, so he's not scared.
Oh, he gets the bailout.
Now he's super low, and they can't take him out.
Oh, no!
Another huge handshake from the side of Lehens, and Gen G, they just scared.
Oh, my God.
Baron.
Thank you, Squeaks, for your tier 1 subscription. I appreciate it.
Hit as well. I feel like that's the dream for Renata. Being able to...
Trying to go in on a peanut here. That is a very
The value, I mean, they have to counter engage with the MF ult off of the Renata ult. Pays gets flashed on. Instant cleanse, man. This is so well played by Pays. Ooh. Gets the kill. Hops forward using the cannon minion. You're like, is he crazy? But no. Lehens gets bailout on him right there.
Trying to go in on a peanut here. That is a very nice ult from the side of Lehens. Doran flashing in, trying to make something happen on a Pays, but he's just hopping forward. Hops into
Lehens actually gets the bailout without having to use flash. So he jumps forward and then he gets the... Oh, he gets it on the peanut.
the side of Lehens. Doran flashing in, trying to make something happen on a Pays, but he's just hopping forward.
So he flashes forward, but the bailout's already there.
And he's got the
So he flashes forward, gets the bailout, then uses MF to leap forward to get onto Peanut.
gets another kill, and now he's super
Then Delight goes in with E, but he catches the wrong target, and then he gets triple killed. Very nicely played by Gen G.
And Gen G, they just chop him down.
This kid is crazy, Valdez! This up to
Look at what Delight is doing before the fight starts. What is he
Trying to go
doing?
in on a peanut.
Probably not going to be enough. Really, this Baron
He's walking away.
Well, I feel like that's the dream for Renata.
He's looking at Baron menacingly.
Trying to go in on a peanut here. That is a very nice ult from the side of Lehens. Doran flashing in, trying to make something happen on a Pays, but he's just...
Sorry, he's got this. Flash Q. Oh.
And he's got the bailout, so he's not scared. Gets another kill of Lehens.
I mean, he thinks he doesn't... He's right in that he doesn't actually have...
the dream for Renata.
He doesn't have the cleanse anymore because the cleanse was used when Doran flash stunned him.
Of Lehens. Doran flashing in, trying to make something happen on a Pays, but he's just hopping forward. Hops into Leona, and he's got the bailout, so he's not scared. Gets another kill, and now he's super low, and they can't take him out. Delight, he gets bitten in another huge handshake from the side of Lehens. And Gen G,
But yeah, why the real is that Delight's fault? The real question is why, if Delight is like checking Baron and clearing Baron pit, are we like walking up? Like, why is Peanut walking up and fishing for roots here? Peanut actually trolls this, guys. Peanut actually trolls that. Because if Peanut doesn't walk up there and randomly decide to go for roots, then we don't have to use bullet time. We don't have to use flash on Peanut. I mean, Pace plays this well, but. Like, Delight was doing something else. Bad communication, and also Peanut walking up while Delight's trying to go to Baron is wacky.
They just chop him down.
This kid is crazy, Valdez!
Fun team fight to watch, though.
People. He's nuts! With the bailout! And the last time I saw Pays have a Kalista performance like this, nobody was talking about him. Might be a little bit different this time around as the Baron gets started up.
Free Baron.
Kalista with 2.5 items. And now he got the Baron gold as well. He buys a Wit's End. Let's take another look at the Pays highlight reel. And the Lehens one, by the way.
Yeah, Lehens gets a really good ultimate. Great, forces the immediate summoners out of Peanut, so Peanut's not really in the fight. And Doran tries to hard force onto the Kalista with Cleanse. And then the fact that Pace is just hopping forward until the that bailout timing from Lehens, absolutely beautiful, by the way. Wait until...
The Nidalee heal timing is also really clutch, because you see that 204 heal, that's the Nidalee heal.
Just hopping forward until the that bailout timing from Lehens, absolutely beautiful, by the way. Wait until the final moment. And
Oh, the flash is so bad from Viper at the end, too.
I think it was the heal, because Viper was just looking for the final auto. Heal coming through, and now Gen G have the Baron empowered. Recalls. Oh!
Nice. Oh, man.
Very nice buffer from Zach.
Yeah, but that cooldown is gone. Like, that's
But it's worth the trade for the ult, especially because this is going to be Soul.
Peanut can pull it back.
I mean, they have to try to stop this one. They don't want to give Ocean Soul over. Zeka gets the knock up here on a Chovy, but that is Smolder, level 14.
Oh, the burn!
Yeah, the burn already coming through. It's online in 22 minutes, and the Ocean Drake does go to Gen G.
Dude, the Ocean Soul and this Kalista and this Smolder, it's over. Yeah, that's it.
Really just run away with this one.
Yeah, it's a law of equivalent exchange. Unfortunately, with how much draft look.
Red buff here as well. I mean, he is Dominus and Renekton, but
reset.
Well, I think Peanut might die anyway, as they don't necessarily have to dive this turret. but they will. And you know what? Why not? As he is legendary, as he hits now his 9th kill.
And it goes back to what you were saying in the draft, and it was, in my opinion, one of the biggest weaknesses that we saw with Genji, particularly at Worlds last year. The willingness to adapt and pivot in a draft when the initial game plan isn't working out. Right, they go for the triple jungle ban onto Peanut, end up securing the Smolder, which was a prior pick for Hanwha.
Yep.
And this game looks very different from game number 1.
This makes them a really scary team. I mean, Genji haven't been challenged very much, and some teams would collapse when they finally get challenged, but Genji are not that team. It's a very nice lineup here from Zeka, but he's all alone. So yeah, it looked really cool, and you know, I'm sure the Yone fans out there are clapping.
Well played game by Genji though. Fun to actually see the Kalista Renata back. It's not something we've seen a lot since spring.
Too far behind as the minions chip away at the
Well, so a lot of what could be poke also not sticking. As Lahans, at this point, already focused the ultimate, or got the ultimate out of Zeka, right? So they don't really have anything to friend Pays. The fact that there's a Smolder in this game, and
The healing's so ridiculous, especially with bailout.
It's relevant.
Because like if the bailout works, then you just heal after that.
And they do.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for this.
Oh no.
For me, as Zhonya's
Oh, he's good.
이거 이번에 탑
Pace calling a lot of plays.
Pays now with cleanse and QSS.
A player on the Kalista. It means that Pace just kind of have to pull some more strings.
Because why not?
He would normally do. Which is not too surprising.
Really clean game from Genji aside from the canyon pathing top. Yeah, the attempt to counter dive with a Nidalee feels bad, but the dragon times are all really good from Genji.
Probably a smart idea. They don't have too much.
This is like the platonic ideal of a Kalista bot game.
Full stack transfer on the Desire would have been very funny. Doran is on a flank, which. What type of there's a bunch of different type of flanks. The pool bay level flank, like what are we talking about here?
I don't think it's quite pull bay, but it's getting close. As now the engage is just gonna come out and the light just dies. And guess what? Doran just dies.
Dolan!
Esports do not get to fight. Nexus hasn't fallen
That
yet.
will defend the faith in Genji to maybe first time. I don't know what to tell you. They're like 7k gold behind. They can't get up to any of the carries. Renekton is a handbag at this side lane in Ibs. And now get Baron.
Is Dolan the double agent alter ego? No, that's just when he's bad. He doesn't have to be a double agent. He's just bad.
Stolen by Peanut if he was allowed near the pit, which he wasn't. Maybe Elder Flip for the fun. Come on, Jet. No, then.
Genji don't like fun.
You have to fight there. Yeah, you do. I mean, it's your only chance of winning realistically is to pull off some sort of flank like that.
Look like they are going to win this game number 2 unless HLE esports have some miraculous surge of gold in this one. But Genji gonna do it the old tutorial way. Take out every single inhibitor and every single engage tool that the side of HLE esports have. They've already taken out the light. As the Zyrald comes in, tries to disengage for them, and Pays is still just hopping forward. A lot of damage has been done to the non-main characters in this game on the side of Genji, but not much has been done to deal with Pays as the bailout is able to hop forward, takes out the Renekton, and takes down the game. Game 2 will go to Genji, and we've got a series on our hands.
Huge pivot after a rough game number 8 in game is just because people feel like if we don't flip now, we are going to lose the jungle pool is completely different. It's what the casters were, or the Space Rider was talking about with the Maokai. To me, I think is the only one that is just, it's never okay. And I'm glad that, I think Vi you can play around. I think the Sejuani you can play around, but the Maokai, don't give it to Peanut.
Okay, so we're switching sides, and we're still taking the Smolder because Smolder is just like B1, I guess, in this series now. No Tristana, no Nidalee, no Ziggs. Kind of surprised they don't want to first pick the Ziggs here, potentially. It has been, previously in the playoffs, pretty big pick for both Hanwha and Genji. What? Azir first pick for Zeka?
Ability for Chovy on a pick like this, but actually goes
So
to Zeka
Nasus?
first and foremost.
Doing Nasus? Because
Yeah, right?
I'm not...
Like, we know it's a
wasn't happy
flex
with
pick as
Nasus
well.
being perma-banned and being blinded, but this is where the picks started to
Yeah,
come
it
up
feels
in
like
the first
Nasus
place.
is
Gonna be
what we would
prioritization
see
towards
now.
this, and the amount of things,
I don't know either.
obviously. with this
Just as your
Corky.
Corky.
Honestly,
All right,
just-
all right.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so they tried banning all of Peanut's stuff in the last game, but Sejuani and Vi are now open.
Thinking about Vi,
I mean, I think
thinking
Gen G will probably take
about
Sedge here on R3.
Pick the Camille here. You're basically forcing out an immediate... Okay, never mind. You're forcing out a
Stop
response
getting excited, Chronicler.
from Gen G.
They're going to have to
Yeah,
ban
I know, I
Mordekaiser,
actually
though,
love
surely,
that as
right?
well.
Because they banned
Yeah.
Mordekaiser
there we
earlier
go.
in the
It's like
series, Hanwha.
my mind pick that doesn't
Skarner? Oh, we're back, baby. Kenyon back on his Skarner bullshit.
mind
I
getting
love it.
violed on, right? Which is why we saw some
Huge
experimentation
amount
with
of
the
pick
Viego.
comp.
Obviously didn't
Huge
work.
pick
Peanuts
comp.
pulled out the
Ashe
Morgana
with
before, which
Skarner.
obviously into the single pick. CC ends up working out really nicely.
But is Morgana.
But is Morgana, so you're stuck playing Morgana, which is not great.
Yeah.
And it is going to be the Skarner instead. We saw Kenyon pull out before.
I'm
He's
actually
been
really
easily on the
surprised they
tank where
didn't
he
play
generally
Nasus, because Chovy
doesn't
loves those
quite
like
have the
tank
same
mid
level of
laners.
impact as he does on his carries. As I love banning Bard, particularly when
Yeah,
you're
the Bard
playing
ban's
the
very good
mobile
here.
AD carry, because the game's already going to be hard. You're playing into
In the Cassante, we see it banned out oftentimes.
Yep, there's the Mord as
Team
we
start-
suspected. Mord ban.
but we've mostly seen
Udyr ban? Really? I mean, Keen is that guy, but
top. Yeah, and Nessa's counter pick for Chovy. So a bit of a pivot coming
oh my god, it's Corky top again.
out from Gen G.
Yeah,
Keen is
I mean,
doing the
it could
Corky
still
top.
be
They're doing it, guys. They're doing it.
But at the end of the day, especially in this meta...
So the Nasus is just going to match up with the Azir. We're going to play Corky top. That's very punishing. Really? We're playing Senna? Really? We're playing Senna Ornn here?
The Senna, the healing one, is the one that is insanely
Play
strong
Braum.
at the moment. Like,
Braum.
frankly, absurd levels of
Braum
sustain
is
that
so
you're gonna be able
good.
to generate from that. In this draft, though, I don't
Block a
really
you
know
a
if you can
Ornolds.
get away with that because it will leave you extremely low on sustained damage.
All right, whatever. I mean, look, the Renata is good counter engage into Braum and Vi ults, into Ornn and Vi ults, but Braum feels pretty good here.
You
gotta
would
think.
have Azir only.
Also,
Yes,
Braum Ashe, very
that's
strong.
not
Super
enough
strong, level
damage,
1.
So I imagine that it's just going to be a more aggressive...
Wait, we're playing Nasus top into Cassante? Ah, man, I was hoping Chovy would play it, and we'd see Keen play the Corky top again. We know they can do it. Isn't that just better, though? Isn't it better just to have Nasus mid Corky top in this game?
Strong runner, and it is looking like we are going to get the more quote-unquote standard setup.
Do you also cover NA games?
here,
Yes,
and
I will
gotta
do
say,
the
I like
LCS
Renata,
games tomorrow, guys.
particularly into Ornn and into what is mostly just Peanut.
You
and maybe
literally
Zeka
can just
that
go
are
look at
trying
my
to dive. The
my
vibe
VODs
really
on
feels like
Twitch
the
or on
kinda-
YouTube and go
I
look.
get why Peanut picked it. I think it's an incredible vibe, but like looking at this draft, I don't think it feels as good as in many other cases, because if you had a Ziggs, it's a freebie.
Yeah.
You press R and the opponent dies. But even if you go for a more AD heavy variety, like just Senna ult's not going to have the same impact.
It's really funny how Ziggs kind of just enabled a lot of great other combos.
If only we...
Stuff just really kind of throwing. Alrighty, game number 3. HLE Esports first time on the blue side in this series. And this is the draft they end up with. What do you think, Chronicler? Do they pass?
Who
the
does
test?
damage if Azir gets withered?
The draft
Excellent
definitely
question.
work, but
Especially with the nerfed
I
iteration of
worry
Senna,
that
right? Even late game.
Nasus in
Like the
particular
attack speed
against both
debuff
Senna
on Azir is going to be huge. I just don't understand it. Like, this feels like such a weird composition for Hanwha Life as a team. Like, if you saw this and it was Gen G playing Azir Senna, maybe you're more down with it. But really, Zeka first pick Azir and then we play Viper on Senna? Like, do you know who your actual carries are
It's
here?
just going to be hard for HLE Life to reliably get through the front line on Gen G until you reach like peak late game status. But are you going to get to late game? I am also really surprised to see that HLE isn't looking to set up for...
Is PTA supposed to be good on Azir? Maybe he just thinks he's not going to proc Conqueror because of Wither.
Play early 2v2 against Ashe Renata. It's not
Like,
quite Callisto
why are we?
Banana, but yeah,
This is not the meta to
still
be
not
one
great.
Azir when
We saw this in
Showmaker has
game
shown
2
what
as well,
Nasus
where
can
they're
do
like,
to
"No,
it.
we're not gonna swap, it's fine." And then they got absolutely demolished and dove.
Some of the tech here, we do see Delight with the... we get a little bit of early damage here. Delight with the Unsealed Spellbook. We have Zeka going with the PTA, actually.
Thought you were gonna talk about the skin.
Well, that is the best horn skin. I don't know what more I can say about it.
I mean,
I am
so
excited. Sorry, Velvet. I have to talk about Janitor Fresh and
Janitor Fresh.
Attorney Azir.
He cleans so well. He makes things fresh.
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna get an opportunity because HLE esports don't currently have a bottom lane.
No,
Viper.
they don't.
So they lost all of the XP on the first melees,
Yeah.
and Canyon has invaded.
Okay, but hear me out. Delight can just TP back. Well, that is
Okay, so deep wards go in at level 1, and we get the early invade.
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna get an opportunity because HLE esports don't currently have
All right,
a
shout out
bottom
to
lane.
Vipers being annoying, I guess.
Viper.
they don't.
So they lost all of the XP on the first melees,
Yeah.
and Canyon has invaded.
Okay, but hear me out. Delight can just TP back, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not fine.
Also, this is happening. It's not generally supposed to be that one-sided in the mid lane already. Didn't really get to see how that one.
Oh, the steal
Canyon-
actually comes up huge.
Yeah.
So because Viper was able
Yeah, he
to
doesn't
get a
actually get
couple
level
of the-
3.
or at least deny the smoke grabs to
He's not gonna have
Canyon.
E, so he can't dive.
Doesn't look like Canyon gonna have that.
Gonna try
Oh,
and
he's-
leech
oh my
some
God, he's just
XP
gonna
off the
soak.
wave.
But
They
yeah,
see him though.
They do know. Oh, he doesn't actually
Nope.
hit it. He's just gonna
Did
dive.
he take E? No, he's got
Doesn't have
QW.
his XP. Okay, kill the minions. All right.
Oh, it's not good. He has
Kills
no
the
he has no
minions.
E.
He's just gonna go for the dive. They do force the TP. Lahens. He's
Not even
burning
close.
over there, but he's out. He's okay.
I don't know about Doran with these dives, man, or these TPs in the early game. I don't know about it. 2 games in a row, he's like TPing to cover bot.
That was a bunch of silly stuff there. Velda, so
And Nasus gonna get a
Canyon
freeze on the
doesn't
top
actually
side.
agree, but without E, like you can't dive.
Yeah, he's just gonna go for that. Forces the flash. Can he kill him under the turret? Oh, Peanut's gonna miss the Q, but it doesn't matter.
Is he gonna die? Yep.
Will go down, and that is a trade back, and Toby's got TP.
So the silliness continues.
He's still alone in top lane.
Yeah, it's fine.
Nasus
We
just
can
chilling,
let
big
Nasus
chillin'.
lane alone, right? That won't backfire. Right? It will. It will backfire. I'm not 100% sure about the lane state here towards bot. Do note Pays again going for the TP. So does have a lot of innate safety. As this play from Doran looks very questionable.
He misses the Q.
No.
No. Safety, as this play from Doran looks very questionable.
He misses. If he hits that Q, I think Peanut gets out, by the way. He definitely gets out. He definitely gets out because he takes 1 fewer tower shot because he doesn't have to walk in. Rip.
지훈아 미쳤니? 달릴게요.
Oh, Lahens. Never change. So Chovy just gets a freebie donated to him, and then gets the TP back to lane, and is completely fine. So that's not ideal. Then the Genji dive, as mentioned, was a little bit jank, but you get a colossal top lane lead over it. Not just because Yaskin is now sitting on the lead, which in itself is nice. Wave state might be a bit rough. We'll see if Canyon can path towards top and maybe help him out there, or if the wave is pushing back naturally, because Peanut is on the top half of the map. But he also doesn't have to TP back. Like, Keen can just walk back to the wave.
Yeah. I mean, it's the freest time. I guess because we were talking about Keen not having a lot of fun in game 2 or in game 1, that maybe it's his turn.
Yeah.
You know, he gets a little bit of time. HLE esports have also made the bottom lane of Genji have a lot of fun, as well as Canyon, who is kind of just farming up a storm. Yeah, he got the level 3 denied from him, so the dive didn't go off or whatever. And Peanut, I should say, is farming better. But Canyon is going to get the first Drake very early on.
And this is actually quite big. Pre-6, they might have enough damage to actually kill the Nasus. So, because of Chovy having prio, he's able to then go into his own vision, spot Peanut so that they have the response ready. Because if Keen gets dove on that huge wave, like he'll be able to TP back, get most of it, but that could be a great way for Hanwha Life to kind of equalize the top half gap. As Kenyon is a level down and doesn't have a lot of health.
Yeah, he's gonna get a lot of his Raptors, but now Peanut's like, okay, I'm just going in there.
Yeah, so he has Aftershock and he is also Skarner, so I imagine Peen's like, I don't know if we can kill him in time. But they had the roam, so they are going to be able to get themselves the grubs here. And meanwhile, Keen is just living his best life as Nessus.
90 stacks, 6 minutes.
He doesn't even need to buy 4 glowing motes.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You don't have to do any weird builds. You don't have to like level your E or anything. You can just sit there and level your Q. You get it off cooldown very easily. There's really nobody who's pressuring you at all. And it just allows you to stack even faster. It's just so comfy. Meanwhile, now Delight has been left alone in the bottom lane. And, I mean, even with Senna here, they were struggling.
This is also where we see the, like, kind of the gotcha factor of a team like Gen G to come in. Because I agree with the bans that came out from Hanwha, right? But now Paige is on one of the best AD carries in the current meta, and he's just completely blowing up the lane, sitting on a, what, I guess the like in TP back, so we wouldn't be able to, or we wouldn't be missing too much, but you have perma bot lane prio. If you can get the second dragon as well, there are a lot of good dragons still available.
Yeah, just the dragon pressure throughout this series is going to make the games really hard on Hanwha.
We are big fans of. But it does mean that if you get an Infernal, if you get another Mountain, if you get a Hex deck with a Corki and an Ashe, going to be feeling really, really good about it.
Yeah, and it really just sets up Gen G for a very strong mid-game, which is where I feel like they're really going to be strongest, right? I mean, you think about Corki on 2 items, Ashe, couple items, you've got Nasus, who everybody thinks about the infinite scaling, but actually it's really his mid-game, which is just incredibly strong, especially if a team fight breaks down. He can have kind of his Zeri moments, not the same amount of mobility, but now he's got a little moment in the top side here as Cassante is in a lot of trouble. Nice all out here from Doran, actually gets into the turret and
he lives? Wow.
Ability, but now he's got a little moment in the top side here as Cassante.
Oh, they just couldn't quite burst him during this. It's so close. If Jovi's there like half a second sooner, they get that kill.
Just, you know, Cassante things, I guess.
It's New Age Impale versus New Age Tank, and New Age Tank wins. Doran actually gets the angle there. It doesn't even need to flash. Valdez.
That's crazy that Doran didn't have to flash there.
Keen went for the flash bonk there, but doesn't really have that much damage this early on, so it doesn't end up being enough. Chovy is just annoying his old teammate. And it's really big, because that was a pretty hefty investment there towards the top side from Gen G. Doesn't end up paying out as Doran just takes the gank in stride. This is where Keen is happy that he still has TP, because he can just TP back, force the immediate response from Doran, and keep the wave where he wants it.
Yeah. So, you know, Gen G, they've got this really strong mid-game, and I'm a bit worried for Hanwha Life Esports because they need to wait until, like, what, 45 minutes to be in a really strong spot with their comp. I am curious to see how that looks as this game comes along. We'll take a look at what Doran says in the gank. I live.
It's really weird because Skarner drags him away from the wall. Like, why is Cassante able to get this angle when Skarner isn't next to the wall? You guys know what I mean? Like, it feels like that interaction shouldn't work that far away from the wall because he intentionally brings him away from the wall. I mean, the other irony here is that if Skarner probably brings him further away from the wall, if Skarner impales him and immediately brings him up, they probably get that kill. Or at least force his flash. I don't know about that, man. It feels like he was too far away from the wall.
Gotta, if anything, criticize the decision from Kenyon to not just go up. And
I don't know why that ability works that way. If you're that far away from the wall, you shouldn't be able to ult you over the wall.
They could burst him down before, but even this early on, it is still Cassante, so...
never underestimate Cassante, what he's capable of.
You just can't. We'll see. Gen G still have bot lane prio. As mentioned, So we do expect them to be able to put down a lot of pressure towards the second dragon. I don't think it's quite going to be the same pace as it was.
It has a
last
push,
time.
yeah, I know, but I just don't. I'm not arguing that the ability works that way. I'm arguing that I don't think the ability should be able to work that
We will
way.
see what is going to come through here. As it looks like Viper not going to go for an 80 build, so maybe is looking. In that case, I think the Airy was what we saw most of, because it just gives you so much extra oomph on your heels. And in terms of utility, we'll see what he actually ends up going, what actually ends up coming through. But that does not alleviate my worries about damage.
Exactly.
In the mid game.
That's why I'm like, okay, you know, maybe after everybody has an Ornn item and Azir's make us believers as this game comes along. But at the moment, still need to be convinced. Especially because, you know, on the side of Gen G, you saw the way they drafted. Their first 2 picks are Ashe and Corki. It's immediate priority on the best carries that are available.
Look at this series, though. Gen G just not prioritizing grubs at all. They're just prioritizing Drake stacking the entire time.
And then immediately they just go for the Nasus.
What is it?
Now we've got Infernal Soul.
Oh, that's tremendous for them. It's tremendous for the poke that they have. Even, like, yeah, that's really good.
Did suss it out. We'll see if they're able to actually get back towards the turret. We do have Pays, was already in mid. Lan's also roaming up towards top. So there shouldn't be more than just a couple of plates to come through here. Because you want to make sure Nasus keeps his access to the minion wave. Should be fine here.
Yeah. Just hanging out, making sure that Keen is just okay. Just going to throw a Wither down onto Viper, and now coming along
Put the
wall,
bugs onto Viper.
Maybe Canyon was going to go for that. Especially with Jonah Strong keeping it a secret. It is 6 grubs to the side of Humble Life Esports. Gen G highly prioritizing.
Obviously, the Humble Life come between the free value you get from the Senna stacks as well as the Ornn items is obviously still going to be a pretty big deal. As I think, I'm not sure if Keen just got the cancel there with the E, but it looks like Viper and Doran were both looking to back and weren't able to until now. And Jovi's just off in side lane farming along. And the real breaking point for this game, because I know that Hanwha have a slight gold lead here, but we haven't actually seen any 5v5 fights. And I think that's for good reason. How much value can Canyon get from the Impale? Can Hanwha Life deal with Keen in a mid-game fight? Because if they don't and they like give up the next dragon, then all of a sudden...
By the way, did you guys notice how they didn't release the ballots for the MVP voting for LEC? I think something really sus is happening.
Just let that one sit. I mean, it's...
They also haven't announced a rookie.
Well, it's actually... Well, it's into Ashe, right? So you deny that.
By Rookie of the Year or whatever.
There's Wither.
Yeah. There's a lot of cleansable CC.
And they engage.
Why didn't Riot release the ballots for LEC? Like they've done every other time.
I'm still
something fucking weird going on, guys.
Yeah. You know me. I'm willing to give anything the benefit of the doubt for a game.
Like I said before, though, we still need to be convinced. I'm sure there are a lot of unconvinced people at the moment, but we've got a lead in golds. I don't think we're going to see too much action because Humble Life Esports don't want to force action just yet, and Gen G not necessarily wanting to do that themselves. They had tried to. No.
Or they're just dumb. I mean, Riot's definitely dumb, but when they do something like this, it's almost always that there's some like bullshit going on.
For Nasus to get more stacks.
Yeah, they want to get to Triforce, right?
Yeah, level 6s to be hit.
There's no one in the office to do it. They fired everyone. All they have to do is release a spreadsheet. It's the spreadsheet that they themselves keep to keep track of MVP voting.
So
that's why this is suspicious. It takes 0 effort.
As Kraken is now done for Pays. And once those 2 Triforces are done, I imagine Gen G's going to look a lot more active on the map. I like the productivity from Humble Life, though. They're clearly not afraid.
Do you ever miss casting LCK? I think you and Doe are the best duo OGM. Well, you can watch our podcast on the Last Free Nation Culture channel that I still do with Doa if you miss me and Doa. Do I miss casting LCK? Sure, if it was a career that had growth opportunities and wasn't complete dog shit. Like, do I miss being in a stadium casting a Korean final? Sure. Do I miss all of the bullshit that went along with casting because Riot is a piece of shit? No.
Just saying hello.
I don't.
His little, like a chainsaw. on this.
Do I want to be in a scenario where my job is to be the background voice on Cagel's co-stream? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Zero potential for career advancement. Stuck in a monopoly where I have no way to negotiate my wages. Being paid the exact same amount to cast the World Finals as Nongshim versus Breon? Nah, fuck that.
We saw the hard steel with grasp build. This is just a more traditional tank build. Went aftershock, early Zeeks. I imagine Warmox next.
I prefer owning my own company and doing my own thing.
It's actually a pretty solid lead here for Life Elders. I'm not gonna lie, if Zeka can do some heavy lifting in this team fight, or if Peanut can take Pays out of the fight early, we'll have to see if just having about 350 stacks on Nessus in of itself is enough. Chovy also should have hit Triforce at that point. He now level 11. So I do think that there is a lot of quote-unquote hidden power for Genji, but if they don't get this Drake fight, I think they actually could be in a...
How much does Riotcaster make per year? Totally depends on whether you get hired to international events or not.
Yeah.
Because obviously you get more day rate. Depends on which region you're in. Probably the most you can make right now is like 200 if you do literally everything. But most people don't make that.
And you take a look at this turret. I mean,
I would say like 100 is more average.
Wow, right on the money. There it is. Enough damage.
Maybe 125, optimistically.
Gonna just go through the enemy jungle. Be very safe about this. Even gets a knockoff on.
But that's only if you're casting LCK, LCS, or LEC. You don't make that if you cast LPL.
And a TP even.
USD, yeah.
Shelly. That's going to give a little bit of extra hitting time into that one. Here comes Canyon. But they're not able to do much. The arrow also going to sail wide. And a TP even onto Shelly. That's going to give a little bit of extra hitting time into that one. Here comes Canyon.
Okay, so we're trying to get dive under this turret. Keen just he just TPs right into the middle, cuts them off, ults immediately. Oh man, they're dead. They're just dead. Zeka? Zeka has to use his ult there just to prevent the re-engage. Great TP by Keen. They're just gonna get this. 100K a year, yes. $200 a day? No. They get more than that. $200 a day. Caster rates at the upper end are probably at Riot are probably like 1,500 a day.
We'll see. Zeka did TP back in. Lahens is low.
Yeah. How will I realize that they really need to make a stand on this one? And the Senna healing, as you mentioned, is pretty huge. Chovy, big hit with the two soldiers. And now all of a sudden it's turning into a flip. Who's gonna get it?
Oh man, I can't believe they get pushed off of this actually. Chovy takes a lot of damage from Sand Soldiers. If Chovy doesn't take that damage, I think they just get this.
And now all of a sudden it's turning into a flip. Who's gonna get it? It goes to Peanut.
Unbelievable they get that. We said 200, you meant 200K, yeah. At the very high end, I would imagine. But that's if like you're doing, that's probably if you do like the max amount of matches you could at MSI and Worlds. And also it's like, it's nothing compared to what you can make co-streaming.
Go for the mid lane charge, and initially it looks like it's just a classic setup for an objective, right? Like you just throw it down and then you go to Drake and then you go from there. But he gets the charge. It's only Chovy, so Chovy doesn't actually have any CC, so can't do too much to P.
The highest earning potential probably exists in LCK, because you just do more games. If you're an LCS and you're doing 2 days a week, guys, you can't make 200K, even if you do all the international events.
A little bit clunky, but look at the value.
Because the problem is there's only 2 days of work a week, and there's like there's so few weeks of LCS because they cut the number of teams.
The damage is actually missing. Build from lands is pretty good, but then the appeal on Zeka just doesn't do anything because he's ults them away.
So the highest earning potential league is probably LCK or LEC.
Then makes his way back, and Genji actually used so many of their ultimates in that initial setup, meaning that Humble Life deny a crucial soul point. Get inner, get bot out, or get mid outer, get bot outer, and things are not looking bad here, Valdez.
Dorian trying to go all out onto an Asus. I'm not sure if he wins this one, but Cassante is Cassante. 1Q will do it though. And here comes
Oh, he gets him anyway. Got the armor shred from the E and then Q'd him. Lol.
Nearly kills Peanut. And you really gotta respect that Nasus, guys. At least they killed him.
Yeah, Viper's timing, I don't know if it wasn't available, but otherwise definitely could have saved Doran. That would have been good. Maybe we'll see in the replay. There is no counter punch for Genji on the opposite side of the map. Maybe they'll go for the outer in top, but outer and mid is getting...
What's crazy is like Hanwha has a gold advantage right now, but you would not guess it from watching this game. Like they actually have all the outers down. Genji has yet to take a turret.
It's gonna get a Gromp, but not
You know, they actually stopped the Drake stacking. So you'd think Hanwha would be in a good position, but they feel like they're constantly just playing from... They're playing reactively.
I mean,
And their comp just won't be able to do damage late game.
At this moment in time, especially if Genji can't really utilize their mid-game spikes, right? Like, it's nice that King gets a kill, but you're not really doing too much with that. You need like a big team fight for Genji into a Baron to really get away with this game. So take another look in on this one.
Watch the outplay. So he's Nasus. And Q. Q.
Fat outplay, and then he puts E down. He's like, ooh, armor shred.
Got him.
Senna didn't feel like ulting.
This is very matter-of-factly. I guess we'll have a lot more fun in this one. Obviously, you want to ideally fight...
Is there any esport where casting is a viable career? I mean, look, man, if you want to do casting for League of Legends and you never want to own a house and you want to live in LA and have no money, then LCS is a perfectly viable career. Do you not want any career growth? The problem with casting is that it doesn't go into anything. You know what I mean? Even if you make more money in CSGO and you have more freedom, what's the next? You never get the really big contract, guys. It's not like traditional sports. There's no multi-million-dollar deal coming your way. And now that the rise of co-streaming exists, it's just objectively less good than building up your own channels and your own brand. So what is the point? You're not going to get promoted at ESL or Riot.
The Light's able to get out of there, has McHale's as well. And now Doran just on the run on the Cassante, but there's a Skarner coming in. Keen also trying to fight up top side, but the Senna ult with the all out onto Canyon. Big impale, but no follow-up, and now trying to kill Doran, but Canyon's... There's a Skarner coming in. Keen also trying to fight up top side, but the Senna ult...
I mean, they pulled Doran back, but Doran's able just to ult them right back into the pit.
Also trying to fight up top side.
Where's Lehenz's ult here?
With the all out onto Canyon, big impale, but no follow-up, and now...
Oh, he actually just gets CC'd and doesn't use it. He needs to use that in advance. Like, if Lehenz ults to cut them off right here, that would make a big difference in this fight, but instead he just gets mega chain CC'd. Whoops. Oh, I guess it does work out that he follows in.
And a bunch of damage from Jovi, but still a pretty nice scrappy fight here from Han.
It's the tanking from Doran, but also Lehenz just got straight up 100 to 0'd Valdez. 0 value out of the Renata, which means the pace can't walk up. And now it's looking like they want to try and turn this into a turn onto Nash. Hanwha Live trying to take over this game. Well, I mean, take over this game. They've had a golden lead for a while, but if they can get this Baron, it's gotta imagine Genji don't have any recompense. Pace does have teleport available, but I don't know if that's enough.
Look at the damage to this one. They are going to take it down, and Genji just don't have an answer to get in. There's the TP.
Damn, good Baron call by Hanwha after that.
And that is an early Baron going the way of Hanwha Life Esports, and they are the ones running away with the mid-game.
It does. So before we were talking about the Genji composition, Power gets on the Triforce.
That fight probably turns out a lot differently though if Lehenz actually gets his ult off. But it was a good chain CC by Hanwha. They see him.
The fight that we saw was the really weird fight where Peanut transferred from mid to jungle or mid to bot, didn't really end up working out. And then here, I want you to pay attention to what happens to the Renata in particular, because I think taking this fight in of itself is fine. Nice buffer there from the light. McHale comes out. They try to turn onto Doran, but obviously actually killing Doran is a really tough ask. But particularly what happens, like, because they turn onto Lehenz, if the knockup comes through, Pace doesn't do anything in this fight, and Lehenz just dies. And now, there's bounties, Valdez!
Yeah, I mean, Genji are pretty massively behind. Hanwha Life Esports now, they've got the pockets. They've got so much gold ahead of their opponents that...
Nash as well. Canyon is already quite chunked. We'll have to see. We have to see a crazy ult from Lahens here to make this work.
Yeah, also the poke is really not sticking because they still do have the Senna. And now trying to get on top of Doran, and the CC layering is huge. He's able to buffer finally, and the McHale's comes out. Poke is really not sticking because they still do have the Senna. And now trying to get on top of Doran, and the CC layering is huge. He's able to buffer finally, and the McHale's comes out to help him out a bit. And now
I don't know about that ult on the Skarner Delight.
very broken up fight now as the Impale totally gonna win, but it goes to Canyon. He takes down the objective. Peanut gets burnt to a
Difference is that you're actually able to zone effectively now and kite this. You know, they use volley, they use Renata ult. Canyon though, he flashes forward and he does force the flash on his ear though. They get the 50-50 and they try to get onto Chovy, but Chovy still has flash up, so the Vial could be useless. Nice flash forward by Pace. It's actually a huge play by Pace there. Look at this. Flash forward volley gets the slowdown. That's huge. It's huge. And they blew Azir's flash already.
And they take a big team fight.
The insanity of Pace to just flash forward there. Try and get
that was a huge play by Pace.
We'll be able to make it out, but the soul point secured for Gen G. And as it turns out, when they have Pace and Lahens in the fight, it looks a little different, but I understand from Halva, like it felt like they had more than enough. Everything was going right for them, but
it's pretty outrageous that they actually got a bounty off of that objective bounty.
We're going to be looking at
the thing about Gen G is they're just so good at team fighting, even when they're behind, that they're very dangerous on these objectives.
As we take another look at this team fight, so Kane's looking on a flank, trying to maybe get something going. Keen obviously can walk.
The Renata ult is so clutch though for their performance.
Unchecked in this fight. Doran goes very low early on. They don't actually get to follow up because Canyon's the only
also, Delight's ult is terrible. His Ornn ult's really bad there.
A bit fragmented. Here, the attempted turn onto Chovy doesn't end up working out, and then Pace flashes forward.
That Pace flash is mega. Oh my god, he got hit by a Q.
To save the fight, just unceremoniously dies.
He got bitch slapped by that Nasus. Holy moly.
All my life, I still think scaling's amazing. They got Echoes of Helia onto Viper now. That's the item that I think we were all expecting to come through right from the get-go.
Kind of a weird
what do you think is causing T1's weak performance lately? Being really uncomfortable with this meta, individual players being. I mean, Faker has not been good, guys. Like, Zeus hasn't been that good.
Especially when the enemy comp doesn't have much damage and you've got Nasus on your
I mean, pretty
team,
much every reason they're just on the struggle bus.
Does Azir get to attack more than once or twice in a team fight?
I gotta say though, I do think that early on they kept Keen inside. Like, this is very low CS for a Nasus at 25 minutes, which only sitting at like 2 items, I think that part's fine, but really ideally you'd want to try and get even further out of the curve. He's going to be able to pick up side waves, right? But eventually we're going to reach a point where Zekai in particular, I think, has the shred available to just chew through. Right now that's not the case.
Yeah, he's alone.
Murder him.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to reach a point where Zekai in particular, I think, has the shred available to just chew through.
What is an ideal workout regime that anyone could and should follow? I mean, look, man.
Murder him.
Yeah, flash over that one and Zekka's dead. I mean, the arrow.
He punishes the lack of... Dude, Zekka gets double punished on the flash. Look at this. Wither. He's got no attack speed. He can't do damage. Just... Woo! Keen's so sexy, man.
I mean, the arrow flies past, and even a Sentinel to try to help, but you were never going to help him. Second he gets splashed on without his ult, he's just dead.
Like, what is the excuse for not being in shape? Like, you've got YouTube, cheap gyms, and you don't even need a gym. You can do calisthenics at home. Like, literally fucking run around outside and then do some push-ups.
Lest we forget.
You know what I mean? Like, do 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, I don't know, 50 burpees,
I've seen this man have great performances, but right now, not so much. As
50 push-ups every day. Just do that. Done. Fix your problem.
Yeah, Yeah, he doesn't have ult. That's the biggest thing. He also doesn't have flash. He's just trying to just sit here and take the turret. What is this solo queue? He's gonna live. And now we got an engage, a big horn. But again, here for Hololive Esports, they don't really have the follow-up. They get some nice CCs, they get some engages, but nothing happens afterwards.
Cheap gyms, those don't exist. Dude, aren't there like a bunch of $20 a month gyms that you can go to, like Planet Fitness or whatever?
Keen is showing everyone that he is the most important Shuriman on the Rift here today, okay? There is no one else. As we take a look, it's very straightforward. With the Wither, you're always going to be able to get on top of him as long as you flash over the ult.
I think I got him.
He did. And then this is hilarious. Love this. As obviously,
like, I promise you, everybody can afford a gym.
But
if you think you can't afford a gym, you just need to reprioritize what you're spending money on.
Well, he killed the damage.
Valdez there, so yeah.
He doesn't even have his ult. Like, he's gonna.
I'm in Asia and gyms are more expensive. I'm in Korea, dude. There is a gym in my apartment complex that is $8 a month.
Hit level 3 ult very soon. He had it by the end of that play.
By the way, if you buy kettlebells, if you just buy like a few kettlebells, you will solve all your problems also.
Because obviously you get an incredible amount of ability haste. And now Hololive is going to have to take this fight with only 2 Ornn items.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is why I was expecting Hololive Esports to really only have success when we got to the very late stages of the game. But this game is really just kind of it's kind of gone off the rails.
Which, Delight should be an expert of that, but I haven't really.
Having equipment does not solve my crippling lack of motivation. Yeah, well, that's your problem. If we're being honest, that's your problem.
Seen it thus far. Doesn't need to be in
You
the
can
fight.
get in shape for free
But we'll be fine.
at home. Just stand there and do some squats. Holy shit, guys. It's not that hard.
Tail follow up here from Canyon. Not going to hit that one. And Pina's able to just get McHale's and walk away.
Put on some shoes and go run around outside.
We got a little fight brewing here as Genji and Hololive Esports, they want to go for this one. A massive Renata ult is going to hit 4, but that is engaged Renata. And it looks like it might work out this time around. Delight just alone in the front line and no follow-up, no damage into the guys on the side of Genji. As Doran super low, looks like he finally gets taken out. Chovy just going to get him with a missile. And that should do it. Should give the Infernal Soul to Genji.
The way in which we got there,
like get a pull-up bar for your fucking door frame. They cost $10 on Amazon.
Was definitely something, Valdez, but we have reached.
I don't even understand. Like, YouTube exists, guys. Some of you are watching on YouTube right now. Did you know you can learn anything you fucking want on YouTube? What is the excuse in the modern era? Literally, what is the excuse for anything? You can learn fucking anything on YouTube. Anything. Anything. Working out anything you want for free. You live in the golden age of information. You can buy a Kindle for like $80 and have access to every book that ever fucking existed. It's actually just your fault if you're fat or stupid. It's actually just your fault. That's the truth, guys.
Happen. Genji have Infernal Soul now, and Hololive gonna have to try and fight their way back. This team got Baron at like, what was it, 21 minutes?
Yeah.
Seems like a distant memory, Valdez. As now Lahens. Oh no. Oh, Peanut.
Yep. Hand shook, and now he's dead. Nowhere to go, no vision, just desperation to try to get in there. And now, you know, we talked a lot about damage in this game between these two comps. Genji, they're scaling as well.
They're good.
They have a couple of great carries.
I suppose it could also be your parents' fault you're fat and stupid. So blame your parents or yourself. You pick. You got what? You can choose one. You can choose both if you want. But that's it. That's all you got, guys.
They have Infernal Soul, and they can kill things.
Yeah, contrary to Hololive, where we're seeing this issue again. And it again, like, this is not the same Senna that we used to have. I feel like it's important to note that she might have been able to do a lot more. As highlighted, try to go for an engage onto Peanut, not actually going to work out. thanks to Viper, still get the ultimate out of him. But even with all the sustain, like,
This HLE comp is not it. What, you don't like? You don't like a composition
you get a
that
multi-man
Nasus
combo,
just
you get a
destroys
great
by
or
Wither? Look at him, he just withers his ear every time. Look at Keen, dude. Keen's such a Chad. He gets this is actually what you don't want to do. He gets ulted in by Cassante, and then he just presses W on Zeka.
combo,
And then Zeka has no attack speed.
and there's just nothing happening.
Yeah.
As Humble Life
That's
try
too
to
funny.
get through these frontliners, try to get to the two people that matter, which are Chovy and Pace. And both are just completely fine. And I say Chovy and Pace, but let's not pretend that Keen just by existing.
Dude, Doran literally just brought the Nasus next to the Azir.
Most of the members on Hanwha.
They're like desperately trying to kill one Nasus. How can they deal with the rest of the team?
Nice
as they
arrow.
dash? Zeka
Straight into E.
getting hit by
Oh
an
my
arrow,
god, he's
very
dead.
nicely aimed, and there's the
Yep,
impale
straight
as
into
well.
impale.
Renata follow-up, and
Oh
everybody's
god,
just
and the
getting
Renata
killed
ults.
now.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ, there
Zeka
is
got
no
flash.
escape, dude. He even
That's not
flashed.
what you want, Valdez. But I don't think that flash is what the
Why are we
safest game.
B1ing Azir?
This one.
What, like, what's so weird is that nothing about Zeka as a player, nothing about this history about Azir being a contested pick, the fact that we know that the Nasus shits on Azir. Why? Like,
Looks
what
maybe
prompted
one is
this?
just done, and Chovy, he says, yeah, I can do damage. I'll take you down, Viper. And he's going to do exactly that. The Ornn comes in.
The
and
one
that's
good
a
fight they had
bonus
was
CC
because
on the
Lehens
King,
died
and
before
he's
he could
just
ult or
like
do
there.
anything.
He's got a Triforce, and he's got tank items, and nobody can really kill him. Peanut goes in, desperately trying to take
He didn't
out
even kill
Will
Chovy.
not be
Rip.
able to do that as the
Bail out.
bailout.
He flashes
He's not gonna be
forward.
able to get it, but it
There's a
does
little happy
not
gaming there.
matter. The Nexus will fall for
Whatever.
Game 3 in favor of Gen G as they take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, go for like Kaisa.
All right, I gotta go to the bathroom. I had to go get my donkatsu that my wife bought for me for lunch. It is delicious. Monty going full Jordan Peterson is cringe. What did I say that was full Jordan Peterson?
Yone.
I mean, that's
Nothing
what this
is
looks
the
like,
answer.
Right? Because
Maokai.
Your reviews got my older brother back into watching LOL. Oh, I don't know if that's a good thing. Oh, you haven't been talking with your older brother for a couple years? Oh, good. Well, I'm glad something good came of it. I came to Korea to watch LCK, but cannot get a single ticket. I would just tweet at the casters, I guess. I don't know. Am I wearing eyeshadow? No. I have very long eyelashes and beautiful eyes.
I mean, it seems like Genji maybe have the same read, and they're like, okay, if you want to pick Maokai, that's fine.
So what we learned is Han was like, uh-oh, we can't B1 Azir anymore. Ruh-roh. Okay, no Nidalee either. No Twistana. All right, Maokai. Maokai first pick, right? Surely.
Fine.
Because we get Ziggs.
Yeah, we'll take your Yone away. Now,
all right, Ziggs is up, so we're going to pick it. So we're going to take Maokai on the other side. Okay.
All over the map.
And Crocky.
If they do look in Yasuo, there's also the potential.
Vi, Zeri.
Flex away this Corki. Not going to be the case. It's going to be the Zeri instead.
I don't know how I feel about Vi and Ziggs together. I guess it does present some level of backline damage.
Some of the possible counters
Ezreal
to the Ziggs. Anything non-station with the life of the Ziggs very easy. This does kind of walk the line between having a lot of lane pressure while also having a good amount of range, as Rakan, like maybe Rakan Rel, I imagine on the bench going to be here unless
Leona.
Genji want to pick it up. Yeah, Leona's another one.
It was the personal responsibility bit. All right. You know, I hate to tell you this, guys. Jordan Peterson didn't invent personal responsibility. What the fuck?
Nasus deserves. Yeah, I think...
We all live in literally the best time to be alive in history. Infinite access to information.
I mean,
ability to fly anywhere you want in the world.
Some engaged supports, but
like your life is like, what? Isn't it glorious? Isn't it glorious? You weren't born into being a peasant. You know what I mean?
You're playing into delight. You want to deny some good combos with.
You know, you're not some peasant farmer in Germany in 1200 where your only choice is to be a peasant.
Nautilus.
Like it fucking rules to be alive today. It fucking owns.
Saves counter pick for Keen, which I do think is likely. Keen can of course also just go towards.
Your vote goes to the 90s. Nah. There was no internet really in the 90s. It's so much better now.
Good luck, Keen.
You have so much power to change your life now. It's fucking crazy.
Has actually been making really good use of the counter picks. I do gotta say, like Vi, Ziggs alone, you need to have picks that can deal with this. Is that like really another blind blitz?
Blind blitz with Maokai.
The setup I think is better. I also think into Ziggs outside of Satchel he is a lot more susceptible, but hands that's I mean, it's the light, so he's not gonna pick anything too.
Owning a home is a lot harder now. Sort of.
Crazy. He's just gonna do his job. Yep. Welcome to Leona.
Leona, very expected at this point in time, unless you wanted to.
I mean, you just have to do things that are going to make it much more likely for you to own a home. Like, you know how I did it? I was like, fuck League of Legends and fuck Riot Games. I'm going to go do Overwatch League. That's how I got money to buy a home. I didn't just do the safe thing. You know what I mean?
Like that, but I think Leona works better in what they have already.
Also, it depends on where you want to live. You want to buy a house? Go to Japan, man. Shit's so cheap there right now.
Keep in mind that the Corki could also be flexed.
It's so easy, though. You can always think of counter picks, right? Renekton, you can get GP'd. Cassante, we already know it's going to be Jax blind. All right, Keen. Give me that Gragas.
I mean, honestly, sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Go buy a house in a part of the country in the U.S. that has super good internet, but cheaper home prices.
Like a little Rai
Don't fucking live in Los Angeles. You know what I mean?
Especially after game 1. Okay, never mind. He's just gonna play Cassante.
All right, so we save R5 here for Cassante. Okay, we take Jin Blitz because we have setup. Really? Is Jin Blitz good into Ziggs? Maybe, I guess. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. You have some targeted CC, so we're just gonna pick. We're gonna pick this here because again, you know this pick is actually good again because we, you know, it's the same shit we saw in game 1 where we have double AD carry plus Maokai.
Okay.
So there's limited AP, so the Jax pick actually has a lot of value. Blitz Mao is a nasty combo. Yeah, the setup off of Mao ult is crazy good.
It's not a very happy one.
Also, you know, Jin with his W into Blitz Hook is very good. So they have tons of setup for Hook. So really, this is a pick composition from Gen G. Kind of low damage.
Go on, Chronicler, say the thing.
Keen has a big enough champion pool that he doesn't have to self-counter pick Cassante in this scenario. So this is mostly.
I don't think Jax was a counter pick.
Where Gen G are blinding.
Cassante wins it, or Cassante wins this matchup now all the time.
Self-counter picking with the Cassante. I do think that game was also due to some pretty lackluster play from a bunch of the Gen G members, but between the Maokai, between Pace being on an AD carry, that does feel a little bit more facilitated.
Timmy boy, thank you. Oh, good, sir. Some good games in this series. Yeah, we're having fun.
That said, if Live end up winning this, we're going to go to a game 5, and I'm not going to be sad about that, Valdez, even though I did predict a 3-1 victory.
The problem with people hearing that, you know, personal responsibility is you can't, you know, you have two choices. It's like getting good at League of Legends, guys. Here's life for you. You have two choices. Now, people who do not want to improve at League of Legends, they say, "Oh, team fault. Team fault. Team fault. I can't believe my teammates threw. I don't deserve to be in silver. Wah, 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 wah." Never review games. Never review your own games. Never do research using YouTube about how to get better. Despite a million available resources. Smoke a bowl. Nothing wrong with smoking a bowl, by the way. But smoke a bowl, then play, then get sad and angry that I can't get better at the game. It's the same shit, okay? Your other choice is, I don't know, blame yourself. This is the StarCraft way, because you had nobody to blame yourself in RTS. This is why people don't like playing RTSs. Blame yourself. Review VODs to improve. Do research. I should say no research. Do research for free. Be sober. I'm not saying you have to be sober all the time. I had a couple glasses of wine last night. You know what I mean, guys? But like, this is the truth about how to improve at League of Legends or literally any other part of your life. Literally any other part of your life. Shit going wrong? Figure out what you're doing wrong. Figure out the things you can actually control. Don't just be like, oh, lol, it was my team. Go next without actually reflecting. Review your own work. Do research to improve. Don't be a degen all the time. Review IRL VODs. Yeah, exactly. Review your work. Need work VOD. Like, come on.
And at this point,
and there's nothing wrong. By the way, you don't have to get better at League of Legends. If you just seriously, there's no problem. If you just want to smoke a bowl and, you know, play some games without really thinking about it and have a good time and like be in silver, that's totally fine, dude. You're allowed to play games like that. You're not allowed to whine about it, though. You're not allowed to whine about it.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Like, I understand if you just want to unwind and like play some games. That's totally chill, man. Whatever. But don't delude yourself and be like, I should be in diamond.
The past will work in game 4. Let's find out right now.
Like, if you're just having a good time, totally fine. But you don't get to go like, you don't just get to rage at your teammates if you do that. You know what I mean?
Game number 4, Gen G on match points here in this series. They win this, they go directly to the grand finals, which is honestly where everybody expects them to be one way or another.
Oh yeah.
And everybody here.
But like in League, there's a million resources out there for you to improve.
One way or another.
Just like in every other aspect of your life.
I was about to say.
Go out there and find a fucking mentor. If you're legitimately interested, most experts will be glad to help you if you put in the work.
They did have an absolutely groundbreaking split when it comes to the records that they shattered. Did lose to KT again, which is very funny.
That just happens, doesn't it? And then KT immediately come into playoffs and just lose to T1.
Yeah, and it wasn't that
That's the end, and it's like, oh, well. We'll see KT again in the regional qualifiers.
Yeah.
And,
them,
you know,
and B&K, and we don't know who else. One of T1 and Gen G, or T1 and DK most likely. I'm sure there's scenarios where you can think of one of those teams making it regardless. And we do have Chovy actually going Conqueror, which we don't see too often. And the lane swap to come through, we've already commented on this, is that the fact
Okay, lane swap, we are going to see AD and top.
Obviously, Jax also does a good job
In both of the side lanes and support.
Zeka is level 2 and Lan's like, okay, well, never mind.
In the mid lane. This is the lane swap that we're seeing become more common these days.
What if you
Delight is being a little jerk, though.
You know? You kind of want to like get the efficiency of the mana regen, right? You got to use one skill.
Okay, I know you've played Blitz, and you know that is technically true, but that's not how it feels.
Here we go. Come on, just throw one out so you can start regenning mana. It's like Hex Flash, you know? You got to unlock it, and then you have an opportunity to use it.
Blitz is in so many ways an old champion, but I feel like his mana costs are like the best example of it, where it's like, I Q twice. Now what?
Yeah, Blitz is actually the only champ with mana left in League of Legends.
15,000 times. Oh wait, I don't have mana. Oh. Yeah. So this is the swap. Ziggs in the top lane, not going to do as much damage as the bottom laners will. That's just the way it works. No matter what champs you've got up there, that's the way that lane swaps have been quote-unquote nerfed, even though we get more lane swaps than not lane swaps in the LCK playoffs so far.
Really does remain, as now we see what looks like to be a repeat of what was done by Homa Live to
where did the interface go?
Exactly.
The top
champs
here.
are obviously different.
They lost their overlay.
The job is to try and get Viper to this wave, which is coming to its rapid end. The flip side is that Gen G is losing out experience towards the top wave, right? Because this is getting shared, so I imagine that they want to have Keen back and then TP towards the bot wave. That's going to happen now. They have 3 blades. Homa Live went into this knowing that this was going to be the case. And doesn't look like anything too crazy is going to happen. The biggest advantage for Doran is that he probably will be able to be in a scenario where he doesn't have to invest his
I spilled rice all
early,
over
which
myself.
gives him a little bit more resilience in the lane. He can trade more aggressively. And if he does get ganked, he's not going to be at much risk. But as you can see, like, you can take trades like this, so Peanut towards the top half of the map. We'll see if they're going to use that.
Yeah.
Need to go get a paper towel, guys. Be right back. Noob of the chopsticks. Nah, I'm an expert of the chopsticks. The problem is, This rice has sauce all over it, so it's not very sticky.
Oh, Canyon.
Here comes Canyon. Down to the bottom side. Viper and Delight, they both have flash. No cleanse, obviously, for Viper. He's got TP on the Ziggs. As Lehens is going in, here comes Canyon. The Viper and... Yeah.
The rice I make at home is also a blend of white rice, brown rice, and black glutinous rice. So it's like less sticky in general than white rice also, so it's harder sometimes.
Well...
Oh, Canyon.
Here comes Canyon. Down to the bottom side. Viper and Delight, they both have...
I'll show you guys. Hold up. It's a lot better for you than white rice, but... You see? Looks like this. How do I get all the different kinds of rice to cook properly at the same time? Because Korean rice cookers are OP, guys.
Got TP on the Ziggs. As Lehens is going in, here comes Canyon, the flash and the roots, and the knockup comes in after the Viper flash and a block here, and the satchel the hook comes in. Max Lehens is going in. Here comes Canyon, the flash and the roots, and the knockup comes in after the Viper flash and a block here, and.
Dude, he waits for the satchel. Man, I fucking love Lehens Blitzcrank.
Comes Canyon, the flash, and Viper and Delight. They both have flash. No.
So,
and if he does, biggest advantage for losing out experience towards the top wave.
What we're seeing here is they actually just zone them off. Then we don't see Blitz recall. So Jin recalls, and the lane swap is over.
Down to the bottom
but as you can see, Maokai just wraps all the way around.
They both have flash. No cleanse.
Waits in tri-brush.
He's got TP on the Ziggs. As Lehens is going in, here comes Canyon, the
flash W, flash knockup. Jin W hits Leona, so Leona does body block that, but they still are able just to get the Q. Beautifully done. Man, that setup's so annoying.
Lehens wanted revenge for his own game on Blitzcrank. He's like, that can't be my legacy. That can't be my reputation. No, Viper can TP back. We'll be able to immediately catch this wave. Does have the TP. So, not the end of the world, but nonetheless, coming through as a really big win here for Gen.G. Canyon with the pathing. Our main criticism of him in-game number
Do you have a
one
cuckoo?
was
Yeah.
lack of early impact. So this gank, absolutely huge. As Lions is the one calling it, go on Ziggs.
Says Ziggs doesn't have.
As Lions is the one calling it, go on Ziggs.
Says Ziggs doesn't have W, which is the satchel that was actually. You have to come to me. I'm the older brother, I think he said. I think referring to his hook.
It's also Lance and Viper have obviously played together so
yeah.
Makes it even funnier.
He's just, you know, it was a little subtle.
It's one of the
talk against Viper.
Doesn't have flash.
Yeah, they just have some teammates, but there's the Zeri, and a lot of damage is going into Canyon. That is going to be a Zeri moment, but the hook comes in, and Zeka pretty low. The damage, Jin actually does have a bit, and now the Lion in a bit of trouble, but Viper is going to come over and help heal.
Trophy 6.
Peanut missed his Q.
Getting in there, doing a nice amount of damage, really escorting them forcefully out of the river.
Pace was actually reloading.
He missed his Q because of Valk, so Jovi could kind of chase him down.
Standing there, looking at the fight transpire. 1-for-1 trade. Kill does go over to Zeka, which is something that Humble Life's going to be happy with. But that was a big investment because Zeka rotated over at the cost of a lot of minions, which is what we're going to be looking at here. Like, that's a cannon and a good part of a wave that's being given up here. They do get a lot of damage down in the cannon. Cannon actually nicely dodges out, which keeps him alive for a little bit longer, which allows the setup of this play. Lehens, again, with some great hooks. Takes him a little bit of time to actually get it. Good sidestep by the Light, because even with Eclipse, I'm pretty sure that Pace just takes him out if he does get tagged.
Now that is Zeri with flash.
Viper's fine on Ziggs. He was actually very good on Ziggs in the last series.
Over the wall.
Actually, Kenyon could have been in some trouble there if he missed.
The thing about Gen G is that they knew that
So
the first big Ziggs might come through, and this is their answer to it.
Plans again. Definitely trying to be a little different.
Ooh.
He's completely fine.
Yeah.
Very close there in the Hex Flash.
He's probably glad he unlocked that.
Exactly.
And Chovy, level 7. And continuing to be ahead of the curve here.
I gotta say, though, that's generally games where Lahens is having...
Is anyone else in the world playing Jhin? Yeah, Jhin is a pretty fringe meta pick right now. A lot of teams play it. It's very good setup for pick compositions, like T1 plays it. LPL teams play it.
As we can see.
It's fine. It's a good pick.
Unfortunately, they do have mid lane prio, and Lahens didn't get caught, so he's just able to make back his way towards these grubs. And it's night and day between the last time that we saw this specific combo come out. This time around, Gen G will be securing a lot of these early objectives.
Yeah, it feels very nice for them. Deny the grubs, get ahead. The first streak still on the cards, but it's 3 grubs to Gen G. And, you know, just like we saw in the last game, we talked a lot about how life esports is comp, but just to have 2 very reliable carries, like Jhin is a separate question, but the fact that Chovy just, it's so hard to ban him out because you know he's always going to consistently be carrying a game, whether it's on Tristana or...
What is a pick composition, please? It means you're trying to pick somebody off. You don't want to get into a 5v5 team fight. You're trying to, like, use vision to get a man advantage. So you want to pick someone off at, like, at the start of the engagement or ambush them, kill them, and then turn on to objectives.
Really weren't. And one of the big things for me with this,
because if you just stand there and try and take the straight up 5 versus 5 as Gen G, you're gonna have a really hard time.
Kind of insane to think about, because if Canyon hits a sapling, you get the slow, Pace can then hit a root or can start and open up the ultimate. Even if Canyon just ults and Pace ult, that alone is a lot of substantial pressure. And what normally happens, and why in theory we really like this combo is, okay.
Doran in a lot of trouble here. He's going to have to flash away, but that is Cassante who is all outed. Doran will dodge the Q3, but has to flash to get out of that one.
Yeah, I actually was wondering whether Key wanted to flash to try and get a reposition guaranteed at a hit. Oh no.
Well, okay, they're actually going to back into the bush. Thought they would try to collapse onto, you know, level 4 Leona. But they're just going to let the light come to them. That's the combo. They get in onto Canyon. He's able to disengage, but Toby already has a kill. Down will go Pace, but Peanut will have to try level 4 Leona. But
so this isn't really the fight that you want, probably, if you're Gen G.
They're just going to
so you haven't gotten a pick at the start of this. You don't have vision control. You don't have banana control. Zeka's going to go in, pop his ultimate. I mean, they actually get the engage onto the Jhin. You're relatively low damage. You're going to lose 2 members of your Gen G right there. I guess they did go 2 for 2 because Peanut died early.
Try to collapse onto, you know, level 4 Leona. But they're just going to let the light come to them. That's the combo. They get in onto Canyon. He's able to disengage, but Toby already has a kill. Down will go Pace, but Peanut will have to trade 1 second going kind of
I don't think you want to use your Maokai ult offensively in this situation. Like, if you are in the 4v4, the 4v5, I think you want to use your Maokai ult to peel.
Able to this time keep the backline safe, and you see what a difference it makes when all the damage goes into Peanut and the light as opposed to into Viper and Zeka. Is yet another wave though that Zeka, or at least a couple of CS that Zeka was struggle with. And right now, the gold lead that we talked about for Gen G really doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things, and no dragon has been taken. I think by far the slowest dragon pace that we've seen. So we take another look here. Initially, it feels like this fight isn't really going to work out, but still the Aftershock gets procs. And even though both Pace and Chovy don't get hit by the ultimate, it doesn't matter. Pace still is in range to get ulted by Peanut. Ends up going down immediately. It's a bit of
Zeka getting a couple kills, pretty huge here.
You have characters like the Zeri that can easily get over walls, and Ziggs with his very big effective range ends up working out quite nicely. Drake is going to be one of the main things, and the one thing I do worry about for Hanwha is that once we get further into the game, is that actually getting on top of Gen G is going to be hard. This was a jungle fight where there wasn't as much setup for Gen G. We'll see if this time around can be the same as Land. Yeah, the light's not going to fall for that one.
Yeah, you mentioned it before. They have so many ways to get picks, and even just the vision of one sapling, it doesn't even need to hit them. Like, the fact that they know exactly where Leona is and that Delight has in general. And we've seen this combo really have a ton of success. Run away in this game because he certainly does have a lot of kills in this one. He doesn't quite have the CS that Jovi has. Jovi got a kill and a couple assists.
I think it's funny you guys are complaining about New York City being dirty. Anybody who's lived in New York will tell you that New York being dirty is part of the charm of it being New York. Like, nobody wants clean New York City. That's weird. The subway being dirty and there's just the smell of hot trash on the street in the summer is that's just New York, man. I love that about New York.
Wave shoved towards the bot side of the map, so that wave is going to get lost. So, in general, I think Gen G have been way more proactive than they normally are. Dropped a lot of waves, and the TP's coming in. I don't know about this, Hanwha. I feel like we're a little bit late to the play.
They are very late to the party.
What is Hanwha doing?
Been way more proactive than they normally are.
You're gonna walk into them while they have a blitz on this objective?
I don't know about this, Hanwha. I feel like we're a little bit late to the play.
They are very late to the party. Ingo's
Peanut
alone, and they get a big Zig Salt on top of everyone, but the follow-up is just so low, but now Zeka gets into that back line.
Oh my god, Zeka actually got in. No, doesn't matter, he's zoned out now.
There with Delight, and Delight nearly dies, but they just turn onto the Zeri. Lehens super low, gets taken out, but the snipe there onto Delight is big. And
fourth shot.
Is gonna go down as well.
I don't know, that was such a half-assed engage from Hanwha. Holy shit.
This one, and Pays just gets to do whatever he wants. Another root comes down, and Viper.
He's running.
Why did we just lose? Like, what is Hanwha doing? They just want to lose the series off that one play? Why?
As a whole was just not the right call for HLE Esports, and Gen G immediately fire back.
They were even late to the grub, so they didn't even deny they didn't even have a chance to deny the buff.
That investment was necessary. Here have Ziggs. They left the bot lane wave. It was the bot lane highway.
Look at all the pings in bot lane. Someone question mark pinged the turret as they were going for this fight.
Oh, just let it go.
Just take the turret.
With this combo, even though you get so much value out of the Ziggs ult, it's just not enough. And again,
the turret as they were going.
Well, I mean, why is Peanut just like he flashes in onto Chovy?
Takes the turret.
This combo,
Chovy has flash, but there's no damage follow-up.
It's just not enough.
And the kiting is just so good. I mean, the hook misses from Lehens. But Doran also got poked out before this fight could even start.
You want to get out of the range of it, but you have, on one end, HLE Live that's forced to fight and doesn't really have any opportunity not to, and the other end can't get to their teammates. And it all starts with that initial engage where, like, we dive that deep onto a Corki. And with the rest of the team already in a position, I love the 1-2 between Vi and Ziggs. I think it's an incredible combo, but it's got to be better coordinated if you want to beat a team like Gen G in team fights.
Yeah, and this feels like a...
I don't understand why we send the entire series there.
When I saw the draft...
Like, what were the stakes of this fight?
I don't know.
What were the stakes of this fight?
6 grubs. It's going to be a wave shoved towards the bot side of the map, so that one...
They're late to this. They have to use Viper's TP after recall. There's the Void Grub buff. So you're not even fighting for this. They have like 5 grubs. By the time you start this, they have 5 grubs. Meanwhile, Jax is here. Takes damage. Look at this. Has to leap strike over the wall to get off the trap, because otherwise he gets W'd on top of the trap and takes more damage.
Ingo's Peanut alone, and they get a big Zig Salt on top of everyone.
Jordan does fucking nothing this fight. I guess he stunned Maokai. Good job, buddy. Then he gets kicked back by Maokai Q. But like, why? Why? Nice job by Pays.
Just gets to do whatever he wants. Another root comes down, and Viper.
He's running.
He does. I mean, Chin is just so fast. I don't know if Viper can do much. Yeah, that's the Q to come through. The grenade gets him down. And that fight as a whole was just not the right call for HLE Esports and Gen G.
Let it go.
Just take the turret.
With this combo, even though you get so much value out of the Ziggs ult, it's just not enough. And again, pay attention to the position of Pays on this ultimate. It just splits the fight, because you want to get out of the range of it, but you have, on one end, HLE Live that's forced to fight and doesn't really have any opportunity not to, and the other end can't get to their teammates. And it all starts with that initial engage where, like, we dive that deep onto a Corki. With the rest of the team already in a position. I love the 1-2 between Vi and Ziggs. I think it's an incredible combo.
When I saw the draft, I'm like, are not doing it.
Because you can fake an attempt to contest, right? Like you move in, and then they keep everyone there. And you just even have Viper TP the bot and just have him hammer.
Oh, I didn't get the bloom onto that ward right here.
Ends up being a Gen G win again. I think
that's unfortunate. They need to clear that so they get more value out of the pink ward in this brush with Blitz.
What I do think is that if Gen G win this game, it's going to be you losing the game over what amounts to 3 grubs.
Yeah.
When you could have just pushed that bot lane in.
It wasn't even 3 grubs. Yeah, the Ziggs recalling and then TPing back in when you could have gone for plates bot side was the tremendous error there. What a weird play by Hanwha. Usually they're much cleaner than that.
The fact that he was down there, but the team call was probably, no, you come up here, we're going to fight this. And somebody didn't like that. Yeah, I mean, that's my read, is based on the 1 ping, but...
Yeah, we don't know, right?
Yeah.
It's not... Teleport's always going to be team call, so... It's not about Viper, it's about Hanwha Life as a team. That play, I think, is going to haunt them if they do end up dropping this upper bracket final to Gen G. And right now...
God, they're going to get second charge, too.
Likely, Valdez. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this is just like the Ziggs team is supposed to be the one taking on the turrets, but Gen G are just so far ahead after a couple.
Now Ziggs has to overextend to try and get turret damage down. It's a fucking nightmare.
When we saw the Jhin at first, I was a little bit like, ooh, I don't know. But it's got the range to deal with the Ziggs.
Does HLE have a main shot caller? Yeah, it's Peanut.
That they already have, right? Jhin is fantastic.
Peanut obviously called that. He was the one who went in, and he, Viper was on TPing to him.
To get picks, and now he's got 6 kills, so he's actually doing damage. He's not just reloading.
Oh, that ward.
If T1 lose today versus Damon, will they not qualify for Worlds? No, they'll be in the Gauntlet. They at least are in the Gauntlet, T1. They're at least in the Gauntlet. So worst they can happen is that they play in the Gauntlet in 2 weeks.
Dragon. 2 of the high-value Drakes are also already taken away. So if this ends up being a chem sack, I don't think Hanwha Life's going to be too bothered by this Dragon specifically.
Blitz shield value.
Yes, that is true. Sante as well.
Yeah, you gotta lock it, you know. No, it's Ocean Soul.
It's been very, very oceany, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the second and third. We've had a lot of these in playoffs. I do know that.
Ocean feels very good for both teams.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's not as good as like an Infernal, but you got to deal with a lot of poke from the Corki or the Ziggs, depending on what side you're on. Obviously, Jhin factor in.
We're going really hard on this.
This is a Cassante. I don't know if they can kill him. The all-out, and Keen is just kind of 1v4ing. He's got a lot of help.
Oh, they're taking so much damage from the turret. Jesus.
Is here, and they're actually able to turn this one around. They take down both
yeah, but they're losing tier 2 in bot.
Not able to trade enough back. Chovy is, it looks like...
It's actually not a bad play from Hanwha.
Yeah, he has 6 grubs. That inner is gone, but that's a good trade for Hanwha, right? You get inner for inner, but you get a bunch of extra kills.
Only Delight dies.
Sad about it. When I saw that Pazel come down, I was really certain this was going to be an unmitigated disaster, but Hanwha Life actually do a good job. Most of the damage goes into Delight, who is a level 6 Leona, so it doesn't really matter that much to the overall play. And crucially, Canyon, not there. So without the Maokai to actually keep everyone in place, without the Maokai to stall on CC, it actually ends up being a very successful...
I really hope T1 make it to World. They bring in so much Western viewership compared to any other LCK team. Yeah, but that's true. But the thing about it is that I don't care about how much viewership Worlds gets. And it would be nice if Riot was forced to tell some different stories like Chovy versus Knight instead of just Faker. Like, Riot is so bad. Like, what are they going to fucking do when Faker retires? They have built up no other storylines. Like, they're so trash at this. They're so bad at star building. It's unbelievable. They just keep leaning on the Faker shit. It's like, we should have spent years building up Chovy and Knight at this point.
He's trying to have presence in mid. He's trying to drop some bombs.
So maybe it would actually force them to do something else.
Because from behind, this is essentially what the Ziggs does. At least, as you mentioned, which was a good call, he was able to push with his team in topside and get value out of that satchel. But outside of that, he's just going to be hanging out in mid. There's a lot of warding there from the side of Gen G, as they are still a pick comp, and Viper has to really respect that and not overstep his bounds. And so Gen G, their side, they have this massively fed Jhin, but they've also got Chovy on Corki, who is still just hanging out and farming and getting very big himself. That's a Maokai ultimate, even gonna force a flash.
Yeah, he doesn't have cleanse, right? So like if he gets tagged by that, he just dies. Gets hooked. That'll be the end of it. And Zeka, that's actually one of the big win conditions for Hanwha Life. Is Zeka on the Zeri, sitting at 5 kills. Yeah, CS deficit, but still on a pretty good level when it comes to item. You see relative item parity there for him. And he's gonna have to come up huge if Hanwha Life want to win. The one upside is that I do think that as good as Paze's positioning has been, if you ever get a flank, if Peanut can ult Paze just dies. Like there's just not really anything he can do about it. And this Gen G composition is again one that is pretty reliant on keeping both Paze and Chovy alive for at least a good amount of the fight. There's double locket, as Veldis so gracefully points out to me. Also, like they're also playing into Maokai and into Cassandra. I really wish we wouldn't have gone for double locket.
Yeah,
I'd rather see. I don't know. There's a ton of utility items we can go for, right? That we've seen. Wouldn't even mind. This is one of the games where, like, you know, Leandri's on Canyon with the amount of poke that you have.
I didn't think I'd ever see the day where you were saying that Maokai should build AP, but Leandri's is just that strong.
Just a little bit. It is. Yeah, I know they nerfed it repeatedly, but this is, you're also full AD. You have a limited set of carries, unlike the previous game where they obviously had the real carry in top in the Nasus.
It's kind of a pick comp dream where you control all of the vision.
Oh yeah.
Because it just makes your picks much more reliable. Somebody's going to have to check eventually, otherwise you just give away a free Baron. And it's not like Gen G's Baron damage is that slow either. Like, yes, they have a Jhin, but they also have Corki. So, decent amount of damage that could go into that Baron if they ended up starting. And it's still very early on in this game, so not going to do
Oh, man, Jhin just not quite with the Infinity Edge yet. He's getting close, though. That's when he's going to get really scary.
Against the amount of AoE that's available for Hanwha Life, you have to be very confident to do that. I don't think that they're going to do so anytime soon.
Gen G still has to be careful here, because even though they're 3k down, they're really just a pick composition.
If you're in the Baron pit and you get hit by
like this is probably the best possible situation where the Corki and the Jax or the Corki and the Jhin rather are super ahead.
I'm pretty sure Hanwha's just going to sack this dragon.
The Jax could still be very dangerous here.
I don't really think that this is the type of scenario where you want to try and go and lose the game. Well, you could have done that at Grubs, which they didn't. But they're not doing it over Ocean Soul, or Soul Point rather, which is good.
Yeah, you know, I think the Grubs have value, and I think that just kind of got stuck in the back of their heads, and they're like, we have to fight this, we've got an angle. Still don't think it was the right call, but yeah, they make the right call here. Just let the one go, and you can fight for the next one. Peanut is kind of doing a pull bay flank, where he's really just out in the middle of nowhere, flanking forever. Really looking for some kind of play in mid.
Which is fine if mid lane turret was down, or if Paze or Chovy were nearby. Paze technically is, but he also has his entire team with him.
Yeah, it's Gen G who are engaging, actually, and there's the root. That is going to be a hook, and it's a Leona, but it just doesn't matter.
That's the pick comp right there, guys. That's it. That's it. Maokai ult, max length, max CC, straight into Blitz running at you, Blitz hook, focus you down, he's dead.
Could have been anyone, and now Hanwha Life Esports, they don't have anywhere to go, so they just have to fight 4v5, make it 3v5, and Gen G,
they just lost the game with those grubs. Man, it's so dumb. Like, Hanwha, why do you give a shit about those grubs? Why do you give a shit about those grubs, especially after they're already dead? They forced the play when the buff was already there, when they had already taken 4 and basically 5 of them. So what the fuck was the point? You could have actually just created a scenario where the Jax has insane value again, but you just inted the game. Ah, man, what a disappointing way to end this series.
Kind of crazy how good. Oh no! They don't know!
They don't know. And look at the damage that comes out from Chovy. That's going to be the end of the Zeri. Now they're all alone here 2v3 as everybody on the side of Hanwha Life Esports trying to get in. And Gen G, they say, yeah, you know what? We don't need that Baron. Let's just go kill them again. And that they will. Down will go Delight. Another double for the
world's slowest Baron right there. Don't even get it. Just decided to murder them instead. So happy gaming now.
The rest of the team's like Chovy and
The
Lahan.
teams are
Come on,
obligated to
come
not
on,
FF in a
guys.
professional game.
Just take the Baron.
They can't. It's
Just
against
do
the rules now.
Well,
In the early days of League of Legends, you
as we take
could
another look,
FF,
it
but
really
you
does
can't
feel
anymore.
unfair. The fact that they have vision there as well is just icing on the cake.
See, the thing is, Riot, it's very true about Riot. See, they
Oh.
can't detect soft inting in professional play or in solo queue. But if you actually just FF, it's very easy to detect.
Try to get him paid with Chovy if they overextend, but not only does that not happen, they can't really quite sync up with the damage onto Viper, or the damage from Viper onto the back line. And Genji, complete blowout in the fight. And then this.
I'm not even sure.
very funny
I'm not even
moment
sure if you
as,
can FF, like physically can FF, guys. On the tournament realm, FFing may have been disabled.
It doesn't really
You can leave
matter.
the game, though.
Aim at Chovy, definitely.
You could Alt F4.
Having a bit of a funny time here, which definitely should have just gone for the Baron. You could have zoned them away and it would have been completely fine. Instead, we're just going to donate some more kills to the what I'm certain is going to be a pretty good boom boom damage vote.
That's a quality one. You know, at least Jin's got some extra utility.
Wow, gets a double push back into the Q3.
He's kind of all alone here, and the follow-up from the Ziggs is big. Pays. He's the main character.
Keen's still alive somehow.
Away from this wall somehow, and now he's gonna open
Corki's
up
just
with
not
the
there,
swords here,
but
do a bit
Jin
of
doesn't die,
damage.
so
Jovi
Jin just
finally
gets free
on
shots.
over. It's almost like this fight kind of surprised Genji, and you saw Keen kind of got roped into it, wasn't able to get away. So HLE esports get one kill.
That's not bad. That takes again, I feel like it felt like Genji got a Baron, but they actually didn't get the Baron, and Pays now won't have sums, which means his effective range is going to be severely mitigated, and Viper can also get a lot easier angles with the ultimate. Don't necessarily need Peanut to actually get to him quite in the same way that you need for guaranteed lockdown otherwise. And it's going to be a kill on Keen. Outside of that, not too much here. Take control of the bot side jungle because they are still so far ahead, and then create a scenario where no one can really walk up as... I did kind of miss why Keen was this far up. And then
He was happy
actually really
gaming,
well done here.
Chronicler. He was happy
So
gaming.
Peanut gets the flash ult to keep it, and then also the Q to make sure Pace stays on top of the...
Delight's Leona ult was trash there.
And if
He tried to,
Viper
like, kill
had
the
just a
Jin with
little
Leona
bit
ult.
more, that would have been a guaranteed kill. Again, is that enough for a damage dealer on Genji? I'm just gonna count Sante because we all know.
Yeah. Also, only Chovy. He's just 5-1 and 7.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But yeah, it still
They're on
would be
a
big
ward.
if they take out the Jin for sure. Yeah, Lahen's kind of standing on one. And they're taking Banana Brush control. HLE
That's
esports,
big.
they're identifying that this is their best shot in this game, and they really can't give Ocean Soul away, but here comes the engage. That's the combo. The lockdown from the Jin is not
Delight just gets Maokai ult into single target damage with Blitz Hook every time.
Peanut's all alone in the front line, and Pays is just sniping people from screens away as Chovy is able to front line. Look at that.
Oh, a nice W.
And Doran
Oh!
just to die.
Pays?
And that's gonna be 4 kills.
He's popping off,
A
man.
triple already for Pays, and Canyon barely is going to get away. That will be the Ocean Soul to the side of Genji.
Oh, Viper does get away
We
with
got
it.
to
No
get
vision
DK
there,
or T1
otherwise
DK.
we've gotten him. But we already kind of knew this game was looking to be Donzo Veldas, but that fight really cemented it as, again, like, HLE can't go in there. Like, you can't. You can't go into the choke point against the Jin, against the Maokai, but you have to try to do something, because otherwise you're just going to give over Ocean Soul. They just don't really have a good angle, and the timings just don't quite line up. This time no one on Genji is out of position. Pays is laying down supported fire. Counter-Strike times out just as Doran flashes and Pays gets the final auto. And I'm telling you,
Penta.
if Chovy didn't get the kill, I actually think they would have chased for Viper.
Yeah.
100%. For the Penta, you have to.
You have, it's Jin as well. I mean, how many times is that going to happen? Delight, yeah, he's dead. I'm not sure if he's trying to bait or what, but then Viper's going to hook, so he beat.
What is it? Viper is, he wants out of this game, guys.
Yeah.
That's an amazing hook, actually. How do they see that?
100%. For the Penta, you have to.
Look at the hens here, by the way.
Jin as well. I mean, how many times is that going to happen? Delight,
They see him with the void grubs, I think. I think they get vision from the void mites, and so Lehens just yoinks Viper.
I'm not sure if he's trying to bait or what, but then Viper's going to hook, so he baits his 80 carry Ziggs, but now getting into the back line, they might be able to take that pace. No! They're able to peel for him just barely. And Zeka, unfortunately, he's been fed this whole game, but he's just not able to play the game. One shot comes in, and Lehens.
Come on, Lehens.
They're like waiting for him to get a hook. He doesn't have it up yet, finally gets it. And maybe now? No, Zeka's gonna cower behind the turret. What else can you do? As he is alone in the top side.
Meanwhile, Chovy is 7-1 and 12. We haven't mentioned him
Yeah.
the entire game.
He just sits there and does a bajillion damage.
Oh.
Just so reliable.
Now you made me think of Dun Dun. All reliable himself. This is to me very similar to the Kalista game, where I feel like it still feels like Lehens is kind of the main character with how the early game.
What is Delight doing, dude? He's Delight's like, well, you know how you actually kind of had to put effort by pressing Maokai R into Blitz Q to kill me previously? What if I just walked into you and missed Solar Flare? Dude, Lehens' awareness is so crazy in this too, because he actually, you think he'd be focusing on Delight, but he somehow notices that Viper is walking up with the Void Grubs right here. He's like, you can come too, Viper.
This fight isn't really like they've already won, right? At this point, the gold lead is basically insurmountable. The fact that they he just walks it off. He has Ocean Soul, he has his cleanse. That's more than enough. But in these type of engages where you have such a big effective range and you can like get a couple of autos and then walk back and set up supportive fire.
If Genji already qualified to Worlds, if they win LCK or stay in second place, what happens with that slot from the LCK? I don't understand what you're saying.
Still allowing your team to CC while still adding extra damage with the flowers.
Oh, depending on Genji placing on playoffs, what bracket they use. Yeah, because I think it depends on how many slots are available. Because like the reason why it's weird, guys, is because Genji already qualified to Worlds from winning MSI and making playoffs, and so the question is, do they actually like? It depends on which other teams are available, because if Genji wins, then it doesn't matter, whether they, how they qualified, basically. Because they already qualified, so it's like how many other slots are available. The thing is, if they didn't make top 2, then there could have been a different bracket, because there would be fewer slots available for the regional qualifiers. You understand what it means? Like, I'll go over it after this is done. It's confusing to talk about. They basically, if they place 3rd or lower, then they would have gone to MSI, but via the potential of a summer winner and a different team having the top number of points, then that would be 3 qualified teams: Genji, the point team, and the summer winner. So then the gauntlet, the regionals, would only be qualifying 1 team, which meant that there was the gauntlet format, right? So the question was, are 1 or 2 teams going to qualify for the gauntlet?
Cash that you can just throw away into fantastic items. I'm a big Zhonya's fan.
But now that they're guaranteed top 2, it doesn't matter, because they have locked in. First off, they've locked in their berth. Second off, they are at worst qualifying via championship points. So that means that there's 2 spots available for qualification through regionals.
And be in our grand finals here for LCK Summer 2024. We'll see if they could do exactly that. One shot could do it on a Zeka, but he's going to get escorted out by Peanut. And the turrets are basically paper. And
I'll show you guys after this. But we don't have to worry about the other bracket. Like, now that they've made top 2, the bracket's been decided.
Zeka actually will take out Keen in the fountain, who brought himself into the fountain. And now Zeka does eventually go down. Doran not able to solo a Jhin as Jax And that's going to do it, guys. Game number 4 will go into the hands of Gen G. One last hook from Lahens.
That was a very disappointing last game of the series. Very, very disappointing. Opinion on new Swiss format where you can't have rematches? I mean, it's still shit. Okay, so here we go. All right, so the way this works, guys, the way this works is you have Gen G, you have number 1 seed is Summer Champ, okay? I believe number 2 seed is championship points. Yeah, number 2. Hey, it changed the thickness of my pen. And in this case, number 3 and 4 are regionals. Now, the reason why we have this format, and the format works like this. So we have the top, we have 3 through 6 in terms of champion points. KT and BNK are locked in. And the next question is, who is going to be there, right, between, you know, T1 or Hanwha, right? So it's probably going to be T1. If they lose today, it'll be T1. D Plus still has a chance to, I guess, jump up there, but it's probably just going to be them because champion points are, you know, it's pretty much set. Gen G, as you can see here, qualifies for Worlds. Is the dark purple is qualifies for Worlds as a team with the most championship points. That's because basically Gen G is either first or second. So let's say, you know, let's say one of these other team jumps up. If they get beaten by D Plus T1 or Hanwha, then they still have the most championship points, even if Hanwha T1 and D Plus have more championship points, because the summer champ is automatically the number 1 seed, so champion points don't matter anymore. They'd be the next in terms of championship points. Therefore, they're number 2. So Gen G is at worst seed number 2 right now. If they win, they're seed number 1. Now, the bracket works like this. So we have number 3 and number 4. So winner of this match, and this match is likely to be T1 DK. Right? So the winner of this match is the number 3 seed. Loser drops here. Winner goes up here. So it's probably like, I don't know, KT versus T1. And the winner of this is the number 4 seed. That makes sense, guys? So you get, it's basically a double elim bracket for number 3 seeds 3 and 4. And it's a single elim bracket for KT and BNK. Okay. They're seeded into the losers bracket. HLE, yes, HLE could be here too, right? HLE could be here too. This is just, based on what we have seen so far, this is the most likely scenario. So the weird scenario was this, that we avoided. So the weird scenario was this, which is like, if Gen G got 3rd or lower, right? The weird scenario that would change the regional bracket was this. So if Gen G got 3rd or lower, basically like, there could have been a scenario where, like, let's say the finals is like T1 versus HLE. There was a scenario where obviously the winner of this would be number 1 seed. But the loser could have been higher in championship points than Gen G, and then they would have been the number 2 seed, which then would have dropped Gen G into regionals, right? Well, in theory, it wouldn't have, because Gen G automatically qualified as probably the number 4 seed, honestly, because they won MSI plus made playoffs, which is the new rule for MSI. So I imagine that would qualify you as the 4th seed, but maybe it would qualify you as the 3rd seed. I don't know. So in this situation, we have 3 teams already qualified. So we have to switch this bracket into a regional gauntlet. So this would have looked like this, right? And it would have been, you know, number 5 in terms of champion points versus number 6, right? Then you have number 4 waiting here. Then you have number 3 waiting here, and you qualify one team as like the 3rd seed, right? But wouldn't Gen G then play regionals for a chance at the 3rd seed? Yeah, maybe. That's probably why they would have been given the 3rd seed. Because so they don't have to play regionals, because that would be kind of stupid. So I hope the rules were that they gave them the 3rd seed. Because otherwise, in that case, you would have, actually, I'm lying, guys. I'm lying. This wouldn't exist because Gen G wouldn't be in the bracket. It would just be number 5 versus number 6. They play number 4. Winner is the 4th seed. The bracket I drew would have been if Gen G was playing for 3rd seed, but this would have been, you know, into 4th. So ignore this part of the bracket. There would have been 2 best of 5s, I guess. So there were 2 possible formats, but we don't have to worry about this format. Now that Gen G won this match, we don't have to worry about that format anymore. So we just have the easier format, which is like, this is double limb, these are losers bracket teams. And we qualify 2 teams out of there. So Gen G definitely going. They're either going as summer champs or number 1 championship points. Cadriel was shilling for single limit worlds, talk about how upsets are great for viewers. I mean, he's not wrong, but it's a short-sighted view because they're great for viewership for one match, and then they are terrible for viewership for the rest of the tournament because usually the team that pulls off the upset just gets insta-banged out in the next round. The exception to that was DRX in 2022, right? Because they just kept winning and won the whole thing. So that was actually a sweet underdog story. But the problem with upsets is you rarely get those underdog stories. And then it just ruins the rest of the tournament. And, you know, Cadriel is going to be biased because there are things that are good for Cadriel's viewership that are not good for the tournament. So, for example, guys, DRX was his rationale. Okay. But that has happened one time in the history of League of Legends. In over a decade of competitive play. Like, you can't say that, you know, DRX actually has to go the distance for that to be valuable. And it was amazing, but it was amazing because it was so unlikely. And it's just not going to happen 95% of the time. And the thing is like, so for example, guys, when G2 upset top esports at MSI, my VOD review probably had twice as many people as normal watching it. You know what I mean? But that didn't make my viewership on other matches better. It's just like it happened once. And also there's insane bias from Cadriel because here like, what is good for viewership? Probably the best thing for viewership is a Chinese team always being in the final because China has the most viewership. So, like, good for Cadriel viewership or good for Western viewership does not mean good for overall viewership for League of Legends. Right? A Western team pulling off an upset, I don't think moves the needle in Korea or China. They're two most important regions. Right? And like G2 being in world finals, if we have a Europe Korea finals, that is objectively worse for viewership than a Korea China finals. So there's a lot of, I think, look, I didn't hear what Cajal said, but I think there's a lot of potential bias in Cajal's statement. Wouldn't the best viewership be T1 plus Chinese team in the finals? Yes. That's why viewership was so crazy last year for T1 Weibo, because the Shy is like one of the most popular players in China, and everybody loves T1. Right? That was actually like a nutty ideal finals. 2022, maybe a lot of Chinese people watched it, but I think the like deft faker narrative was probably better for Korean fans and Western fans than it was for Chinese fans. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but T1 being in the last World Finals, regardless, the last 2 World Finals was huge for viewership. Deft has a ton of Chinese fans too. True, he did spend a lot of time in China. But yeah, I mean those are the big things, right? So I don't know, like Worlds format single limb is not best for. There's also the other bias, which is that if you have more games because of double limb, you're going to get more viewership. So like, is single limb like the question is the value of one single limb upset worth not having the viewership of 3 or 4 more best of 5s in playoff bracket? Probably not, right? Like, you're basically saying that one upset or even 2 or 3 upsets would cause more viewership than a loser's bracket. And also, I think that's a mistake. That's a mistake because losers brackets tend to create more competitive games that are more likely to go to 5 games, because the bad teams then have to face each other in the lower bracket and the good teams face each other in the upper bracket. So the bracket itself ends up being more competitive. Do I think T1 will even make Worlds? Yeah, they'll make it. I mean, look, they're not worse than KT or BNK Fearex. Like, come on. It'd be shocking if they didn't make it. I mean, do I think it would be funny if Pioshik, Beryl, and Deft denied T1 again? Sure. But I don't think they will. All right, guys. I'm going to go. I got to watch the T1 D Plus games live today because I have the Monty and Wolf show tomorrow. I will be back streaming more tomorrow. Probably LCS Fly Liquid. Don't they have to beat DK too? No, they can lose to DK and still go to Worlds. Because DK, I think DK will be the 3rd seed, and then T1 will be the 4th. But thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later.
Bro, just had to stop hitting it, mate. They TP'd. Just look for a little pack of swelling seed, a cheeky little turn. You just let the enemy enter like that, bro.
上辅两个人面对是对面的中上，凯南这里是没有什么办法的。
Fucking Taza just kept tanking Nash for no fucking reason, man.
又在逼龙，又在逼龙。我们要看一下正面。
Sure, 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 sure.
是有机会 run 掉的。
Chris, goalkeeper, Chris.
帮自己的队友打龙，这样龙
Oh, they get the match, they get the match.
打完龙，刘旭松应该要死，而且正面带
Zika.
走了小虎，小虎这边交一个 W。
Oh, he got the W on the sleeve. Broke the CC. They're collapsing on him. They're collapsing on him. Oh, Scout has had time to pop. Ooh, Gaho down. They're looking for more. Hang with the turn. Scout has no E. Scout, you're not popping ult, Scout? Oh, breathe. Get the